Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku and UA High reacts to Deku from Different Timelines movie. Before we start, please go support God of Hope for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. A god was bored and wanted to look at other universes, but he didn't want to do it alone. So almost the entire cast of Boku no Hero was brought in. Let's see other universes. Looking at other universes. It was a huge room full of movie theater chairs, and almost at the back there was a table where there was food of different types. In front of the room there was a huge blank screen similar to those in movie theaters. And in the middle of the screen there were two young-looking people. The first was a boy wearing a white coat and hood with blue accents on the sleeves and edges, a gray dress shirt and forest green jeans accompanied by black and white tennis shoes. Not forgetting a black sheath nodachi on his waist. And next to him was a girl with purple hair, blue eyes and white clothes with gold details and white stockings including silver high heels. But what was most striking were the beautiful wings behind her back and a silver-colored staff with hanging details. They seemed to be waiting for something. "My lord, they are already coming," she replied politely. "I know, Ariel, they will be here." He pulled a chain from his pocket that held a silver pocket watch, and when he opened it he looked at the hands, smiling in 3, 2, 1. And above the ceiling of the room a large blue portal appeared. And of the many people fell out. They were all known. What happened? Where are we? How did we get here? Where the buck are we? All those people were the students of 1A and 1B along with the teachers and Netsu. Almight was also there, confused along with Gran Torino and Recovery Girl. Power, Louder and May. The Wapupsicats together with Kota. The Big Three along with Eri. Kamui, Death Arms, Empty Lady, Backdraft, and Endeavor. Everyone was confused. They didn't know how they got there. "Ahem, may I have your attention please?" he spoke, but they didn't listen to him. "May I?" he repeated again, annoyed, having the same result. And already annoyed, he just pointed his right hand to the ceiling and a sphere of white energy came out of his index finger and bam! The sound of a shot was heard, and then everyone present paid attention to it. "Well, now that I have your..." Boom! He could not continue speaking as the girl hit him in the head with her staff, leaving him in severe pain, and he crouched down, holding on to where he was hit. "My lord, how many times do I have to tell you not to make holes in the roofs? It was already the third one this week." "I'm sorry, Ariel," he apologized. "Hey you, who the hell are you?" Bakugo asked with explosions in his hands. The subject looked at the blonde. "I think you should introduce yourself first before making demands, don't you think?" "I don't give a shit what you say extra. Shine!" He launched himself straight at the subject. Bakugo, stop. Aizawa tried to stop him, but his bandages didn't reach him. And just when the blonde was in front of his target, the guy smiled. And with his right hand he snapped his fingers. Snap. Nobody knew what happened, they just saw the explosive boy stopped in the air. What happened?" he asked without being able to move. "I stopped your trajectory and paralyzed your body except for your face, in addition to nullifying your cozy eyes so that in the time that you are here you do not use it recklessly like now." The same guy looked at the paralyzed blonde. "Tell me, Katsuki Bakugo, do you want me to do Peter Parker for you? Because I can turn you into dust with just a snap of my fingers." That's what he said with a smile that scared many of those present, and even Blonde was more scared as when he saw the power of All for One. "Just tell me yes or no." "Well? No." The guy relaxed, and with a movement of his fingers he gently left the blonde on the ground. "Are you going to behave?" I asked. "Yes," he said it very forcefully. "I'm glad. Now I want you to take a seat, please." Unexpected for those who know Bakugo, he obeyed him. Of course, with some frowns and more. "Now I want everyone to please take a seat and pay attention to me." They reluctantly complied and took their seats, each sitting next to people they knew. "Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Hope, and this beautiful young lady sitting next to me is my assistant named Ariel." I know you are wondering what I am doing here, and I will answer by telling you that everything was orchestrated with the purpose of seeing universes and alternate realities in which you will be able to learn new things, but these realities are related to a single person whom I admire and... He stopped when he saw little Eri raise her hand as if she were in class. Yes, little one? He replied with a smile. Sir, who is that person? That question also made many people curious. Well, to answer your question, it will be with another one, and it is this one. Who do you admire? To Mr. Izuku. Those words caused a silence to form in the place, causing many people to look around as if they were searching for someone. Where is Deku-kun? Asked the brunette, worried about her friend and platonic love. Do you know where the truth is? The ex-hero N1 asked about his successor. And several more asked about him, showing that there was camaraderie between those in Group 1A and some in Group 1B. Don't worry, he's safe. With a snap of his fingers, a portal opened, looking down upon a sleeping boy surrounded by an emerald green aura. The aura is a healer in which it heals both physical and psychological wounds. I wouldn't dare to hurt my idol. What do you mean, your idol? Almight asked. It is because I have seen many versions of his life, alternate universes, alternate futures and pasts, as a hero, as a villain, as a soldier, as a vigilante, as a demon, as a god. And why do you admire a weak nerd like Deku? Because he has more guts and more heroism than you, and I like his attitude of being fearful but willing to do the right thing. Nobody said anything. Until a black-haired boy raised his hand. Yes, Tenya. What are you? Very good question. Well then, I am something known as a multi-dimensional universal god who observes, watches, and maintains order among them. In time and space the possibilities are infinite, and the stories of our protagonists are something that gods like me look at all infinity. If you maintain order, then why did you bring us here? Nedza asked. I needed company to watch since I took a vacation, and the truth is I don't want to see you alone apart from my assistant. Besides the fact that you are characters in which I ask for opinion for some things before starting, I want you to see a battle that will motivate you in several ways. With a snap of his fingers, the screen began to show images of a saw-shaped sword falling to the cracked ground. I have no strength in my hand to lift my sword. Several men were shaking as if it was difficult for them to stay standing. I can't use my magic power either. Listen, I know those people, said Kaminari. I'm also from an anime, Mineta also said. You got it right, guys. I hope you see why that universe exists. Everyone was surprised at what they saw and even more at what that multiversal god said. What's happening, Gil? Why did we lose our power when that damn demon arrived? The answer is very obvious. Everyone looked at Mina, who was also looking at the screen seriously. I also saw that anime and I know what will happen now. The older ones didn't say anything because they wanted to know for themselves, while the younger ones who haven't seen it tried to find out, but they refused to give any spoilers. I must avenge Meliodas. I must do it. He won't be able to do it, Kaminari commented seriously at what the pink-haired man said. Gil, stop please. A man in blue robes begged him. I'll do what I feel like. You shut up. That's no way to respond to someone who cares about you. Ida scolded, and some agreed with the robot boy. Anyone in front of me who feels hatred in his heart loses the ability to hurt others. I am Esterasa, to whom the commandment of love was granted. The spectators were shocked to learn about this ability. What a strong ability! If he is a villain, he would not be caught, since by getting close to him they would lose power. You're right, Aizawa, a guy with that power would be dangerous whether he's a hero or a villain. Midnight also commented on his colleague's words. He is from the elite of demons known as the 10 Commandments, and they are powerful, and I can bet that not even a hero below the top 5 could at least touch him. Hope commented, enjoying how surprised the professional heroes are, and more so the young ones, who are grateful that such a peculiarity does not exist. Love? Don't give me that. After killing the captain, how dare you? Not even Bam is a match for him, Kaminari said. He is the fox of greed, one of the 7 deadly sins, but he is not strong enough to face it. Mina clarified her doubts. We are unable to raise our swords, tense our fists, or even walk towards him. It's a very dangerous situation, Siro said. That guy has the control and the means to win, Karotsuyu said, being somewhat fearful, wanting someone to do something, or at least for her favorite green-haired boy to be by her side so she could feel safe. Midoriya would have come up with some strategy to get out of this mess, Momo said, also wanting to have the freckled boy by her side. Someone has to do something, Pixie Bob spoke. Per little ones, let me save you from your sufferings. The gray-haired man's icy, sadistic tone shook everyone, even the most veteran. He was a real demon. Please! Someone do something! Uraraka shouted fearfully, closing her eyes, wanting Izuku to be with her. But feet covered in golden armor stomped on the ground. Everyone was surprised. And the god smiled mockingly. He arrived. Everyone looked and saw that it was a tall man in golden armor, and with heavy steps he walked towards the Grey Danger holding a huge single-edged axe in one hand, making the demon surprised by what he saw. Why does my commandment not work on him? The guy stood in front of him, and it was noticeable that they were both the same height. Of course not. Why would I feel hatred towards someone who is much weaker than me? Everyone was now gaping at the person they instantly recognized. Only one name was pronounced. Deku. It just makes me feel sorry. You really have pride. Since when is that nerd so tall? No one responded to Bakugo's words, especially the girls who blushed when they saw how strong and muscular the green-haired boy was, even though the golden armor with green shields didn't let them see them. And one more step he stood face to face with the demon. Yes, because that's what I am. I'm Pride Izuku, son of the former lion of the 7 deadly sins. The hero has arrived. Mr. Izuku has arrived. Both infants shouted excitedly to see their hero in action. However, the companions did not expect that, and even more so those who saw that anime that their green-haired friend was there instead of the original deadly sin. I had told everyone these universes and alternate dimensions are related to Midoriya, Izuku said the god, reminding everyone. My boy Almight didn't know what to say. He just watched with great interest in the form and power of his successor. How is it possible that this man is the only one capable of moving? Because it's Deku and he can do it. Kota excited for his hero. It's because he is the most powerful of the 7 deadly sins. More powerful? Ida asked Kaminari. Yes, it is more powerful, and more so during the day. That guy was doomed the moment Midori faced him. They just didn't tell him. Mina couldn't stop smiling when she saw Izuku, and even more when she knew that in that universe he is the son of Pride. I see. You're the human that Melaskala told me about, the one who defeated Galith, aren't you? Please, I hope and do not hold a grudge against me. If your own commandment goes against you, you would take away the fun of facing each other. He's very arrogant, Todoroki commented, reminding him of his father's arrogance. But he has something to support him, and more, Mineta said, surprising everyone since he is not usually that serious. You are nicer than I thought. The demon smiled friendly. I don't like that smile, Mandalay expressed with concern. Nia the ragdoll also said, worried about the green-haired man having one of his gloved hands on her chest. Yes, of course, he returned the smile. Let your guard down. Death Arms shouted, knowing what would happen. What happened was the following. The demon hit Izuku on the chin, drawing blood and making him look up at the sky. Deku! Uraraka screamed, scared for her friend. In the blink of an eye, the demon was upon him, preparing a blow. The green-haired boy was stunned and did not react. Midoriya, react! Ida shouted for his friend to get out of that situation. But it was not like that, because he received another blow that not only sent him to the ground but also pierced many meters of solid rock. The demon landed, seeing the green-haired man with his head buried inside the golden armor. Damn, Deku, get up! Bakugo shouted, angry that his rival was being used as a punching bag. Then a powerful kick from the demon sent him flying very high to the height of where the other knights were, and in the blink of an eye he was in front of him to hit him and end up on the ground, raising a lot of dust. Everyone on the screen and the viewers were worried about the green-haired man, especially some girls who felt their hearts jump out of them as they watched him being massacred by those powerful blows, almost on par with All Might. Except for 3 who were looking forward to something good. It seems that he is no match for him. He is very powerful. Those blows must have damaged him a lot. Kamui looked seriously with his arms crossed, analyzing everything, agreeing with the Nightingale Thunder. I don't think so, Brat Gran Torino smiled, enjoying the fight and having some ramen. What do you mean? Empty Lady asked. You don't look beyond the obvious, young lady. You still don't know that the first blows don't define the result of a battle. Recovery girl enjoyed drinking from a glass of sake. HMP relics is what Endeavor said in response to the words of both veterans. The younger ones were going to ask, but a light illuminated them, and they saw that the demon turned around to see a glow, and in an instant blocked a powerful blow from our hero. The force of the blow made him retreat, making Mina and Kaminari smile. HMP, nice try. I don't think so, Mineta smiled arrogantly. Since it was seen how the demon had an expression of pain and started as if that blow affected him a lot, leaving the youngest and professionals in disbelief. Wow, May was excited. That hit must have been strong. Pixie Bob shouted anxiously for that fight. What's wrong? Did you find a gold coin? The green-haired boy mocked when he saw him on his knees. He's more arrogant than the old man, Todoroki said angrily. But you have to admit it was really good, Zero said, liking those words. As for the aforementioned, he feels that those words are very good at humiliating villains. I think she could get along with that guy. I managed to get Esterasa to kneel. With just one blow that he was able to block. Impossible. Two black-winged men watching everything were stunned to see their companion on his knees, making it clear that the dangerous is powerful. If they say that about their partner, and they are elite, then Midoriya is more powerful than we thought. Kendo was surprised and trying to calm her heart seeing such a beating that cute boy had if she thinks he is cute since she met him. That's nothing, it hasn't reached its maximum yet. What do you mean, Pikachu? Demanded the explosive boy, not wanting to accept that the Deku of that universe was far superior to him. Just keep watching was the only answer the electrician gave. Oh no, you're going to give us a heart attack. You're not the only one who thinks that, Momo commented, agreeing with the immortal fox. Kakuki, you know something? This world is amazing, this is what I was waiting for, said the demon, managing to get up, and from his chest a dark portal materialized, a short sword with a wavy edge, and after putting himself on guard, with you as an enemy I can really play. This got serious. Tokoyami along with Dark Shadow were tense about such a battle. How reckless, Izuku said arrogantly. You are not the one to say, that was the collective thought of all who knew him. And with a powerful movement the green-haired man lowered the axe with the intention of finishing him off, but the guy dodged it very quickly, and then with a wave of his sword a clink was heard, and out of nowhere blood came out of his shoulder in droves, scaring many and more the women worried about the freckles. What just happened? It was only a moment and Deku-kun is hurt? Uraraka feared for him. I couldn't see it, not even when he managed to connect such a blow. Jiraiya held on to his seat looking at the screen. Stain wasn't even that fast with the sword. Ida trembled in fear at such a thing, waiting for the result and for his friend to also emerge victorious from such a battle. Did this take you by surprise? It's my counterattack, magic power. I can reflect any physical attack with more than double the power. Midoriya was at a disadvantage again, Aizawa said seriously when he saw each situation. And with that wound he won't be able to do much, Tora agreed. As for Izuku, he just touched his shoulder as if the wound was something new that had happened to him. Wow, that's why I just felt a little pain. I'm really impressive. How can he boast with that wound? Hagakure was incredulous. I don't know, Ojiro was the same as her. Ha ha ha, but how funny and proud can you be, the demon mocked. I want to remind you before I kill you, what is your name? I'm Izuku, remember this before you die, the green-haired boy responded, standing on guard. This battle will not end well for the loser. Ibara prayed for a good outcome. Midoriya, you can win, Pony supported. Now, as a form of respect towards you as a great adversary, I am going to do exactly the same, but don't think it will be an easy death. That's it. Monoma couldn't finish the question when he saw what he saw. It was a sun the size of a beach ball floating in the green-haired man's hand, and by its brightness one could say that it was very powerful. It seems that it can create suns of considerable size. It must be a surprising power. Mirio was the same as Monoma. With power like that, there could be collateral damage, Tamaki commented seriously, looking at that powerful sun. How incredible, you are a relentless bastard, said Esterasa, caring little about that sun. If you use so much magic power, the people behind you will end up charred or worse. And it was true that the knights suffered from the heat, and that their armor was beginning to melt due to the suffocating hell. I told you so. You were right, Tamaki. Midoriya can hurt his allies. He should take the battle to another place where it doesn't affect anyone. Nijire looked serious without her bubbly and curious attitude as she waits to know the result and for her Kohai to win. Mr. Ban, could you confirm if Lake Tenais is in front of the south gate? A lake? Was Momo's question. Why do you want to know the location of a lake? Kirishima also asked. Yes? So what if it is like that? At this rate we are going to end up fried, kid, answered the Sin of Greed, annoyed by the heat. Perfect. And with a movement of his hand he moved the sun, pushing the demon, who did not expect such an attack and was thrown onto a huge lake. The demon looked and the sun was above him, but not only was it the sun but Izuku was also aiming. I told you, your death will not be easy, cruel sun. The sun hit the perilous, falling in the middle of the lake and sinking the demon further. This one resisted the lethal power. But the green-haired boy closed his fingers. Pride flare. And out of nowhere a colossal amount of steam came out of the lake. The professionals have seen many things in their lives, but nothing like this. Even Endeavor felt inferior when he saw what a sun could do compared to his flames. The students kept watching, becoming more and more excited about this battle of superior beings. That monster evaporated the entire lake in an instant. His power is increasing, Gran Torino smiled. The image changed and we can see Izuku walking around the place with steam in the surroundings. That was an impressive attack, I really felt it. That voice belonged to Esterasa himself, who no longer had his clothes on, only his pants, and was injured and had serious burns. Not to mention there was darkness coming out of his right arm. If I had unleashed my darkness a second later, it would have really hurt me. The horror of seeing how the darkness left his body without a single wound was overwhelming. Already thinking that he was a very dangerous enemy, now he is even more so. It is invincible, Ragdoll said fearfully, closing her eyes, fearing a possible fatal outcome. But now it's time to finish this. It's the only thing you and I can agree on. His hand rose to create a sun more powerful than the previous one. He is willing to finish in one fell swoop, and did not miss any detail. Adults didn't admit it, but they liked watching a battle, especially if it was an anime. It seemed in favor of the green-haired man. But black dark. Out of nowhere a mist of darkness surrounded the sun and the arm. Oh no! He has the advantage again, he worried. It's over. The demon lunged to cut with his sword. What are you talking about? He said, preparing his axe to defend himself. And he slashed but missed a blow, and the demon smiled in victory. The spectators, and especially those who paid attention, did not see it coming. Full counter. He returned the attack. The attack returned and a strong energy hurt the green-haired boy. Deku! Everyone, and especially the women, screamed in horror as they saw how our hero received his attack twice as much. My boy! Almight shouted as he saw his successor being hurt. He wanted with all his might to be there to help him win. My darkness was able to absorb your sun. It means that in terms of magic power I have the advantage over you, not to mention that full counter will reflect back against you any form of physical attack you try against me. You understand what I'm saying, Izuku? Izuku was injured and his face was bleeding from his forehead. He didn't even react to Esterasa's words. The girls were horrified and wanted to go to the green-haired boy's aid. The boys were furious and wanted to go and avenge the green-haired boy. And the professionals were wanting to fight, and they respected the green-haired man for the good fight he gave. And as for those who were interested in him, they only had tears crying for our hero. It seemed like everything was over. But the demon instantly received a fatal cut to the chest, leaving him in shock. The spectators now looked on in shock, not even knowing how that happened. Only 4 people, among them a god, smiled, and the words they gave were, "This is over." And a great power rose up and the sun appeared again. You say that my attacks have no effect on you? And who decided that? You say that you absorbed my sun? And who decided that? Izuku's power and height increased, making him more powerful, managing to intimidate the demon. He already saw his death. Mina smiled, knowing and hoping to see the end. Opposing himself to the lion was a huge mistake that he paid for with his life. Kaminari couldn't stop missing every word and every epic moment. I never saw his attack against me. Who is this damn human? His power is much higher than before. At noon is when he is more powerful than ever. For that reason he is doomed. Mineta could not help but release that information. In short? Uraraka asked, happy that her crush had risen and become more powerful. This is over now. Ariel smiled coldly. Cruel son! With that technique it is definitive that he has already won, the god commented, drinking a soda. I am the only one who decides. That deadly, masculine voice gave every man watching the fight the desire to wash dishes and clean the floor. And the girls felt like going to the bathroom. Only Hope knows what they will do there. That's very masculine. Kirishima looked at that Izuku as his great role model. No! Brother! The red-robed demon tried desperately to go to his aid, knowing the inevitable fate of his brother. You can't do anything now, Knight said, hiding his excitement at hearing such masculine words. Die! The demon screamed now, seeing that he was lost. And with the power of a titan the sun struck the perilous man, who screamed in agony from receiving so much power and heat. It was released. And his brother tried to help him. Izuku was his cry, cursing the one who defeated him. Brother! It was his brother who was trying to save him. Izuku with more force made the sun pass through the land and mountains until it ended in a lake, evaporating again and eliminating his enemy. Esterasa was defeated. Everyone stood up and applauded as they watched an epic ending. And the screen went blank, ending the function. I'm glad you liked it. Don't worry, there will be more. In the meantime, take a 10-minute break. There's a buffet and a bathroom in the back for many people, since this is just beginning. That was more than true. Izuku on D-Day. The movie theater was cheerful because now everyone is talking. The heroes among themselves commenting on the great power of Izuku Escanor. And the young people about the battle and how in the end Izuku won. All while many enjoyed a good meal. Hope watched everything while enjoying a soda. But I was also looking at two specific little people. The two children who were still talking about Izuku. Excuse me, Mr. Hope. He looked at who had called him. There were several girls, including Ochako, Momo, Tsuyu, Kendo, Pony, and Yui. They all gathered together to ask him for something. How can I help you? Mr. Hope, if it's not too much trouble, could we see Deku-kun? It was Ochako who asked. I'm sorry, but it's necessary for it to stay there for several reasons. But you can see it after seeing 3 other universes. What do you think? They were a little disappointed that they couldn't see Izuku, but they still understood that. From afar, talking to her friends and her sensei was Nijire, who was also tempted to go see Izuku. With the ragdoll cat heroines he also wanted to go, but he controlled himself a bit since he didn't want to cause a scene. Well, my guests, in 5 minutes we will see another universe. Only now I will have to do something very necessary. The god approached the children. Children, my assistant Ariel will take you to a fun place. What do you think? They were excited, so they nodded, following the angel woman. Mandalay and Aizawa were going to protest, but a very powerful force stopped them. When the assistant took them away, the god freed them. Why did you take my nephew? Sosaki asked. The universe we are going to see is not good at all, believe me. And what assures us that you won't do something to the children? Aizawa asked, now very seriously. I am a god who respects life. I have my personal rule of not hurting children. I give you my word that those little ones will be safe. The adults said nothing as they had no choice but to obey. But first, 2 more guests. I snapped my fingers and 2 people appeared on 2 free seats. Midoriya Inko and Melissa Shield. Both did not know what was happening but were explained by the people they knew. By Katsuki and Almight to Inko, and by Ochako, Momo and Jiru to Melissa. something that the blonde inventor was happy to see the green-haired boy. Well, since everything is explained and clarified, take your seats, get comfortable, and get ready to see Izuku in Normandy. The screen lit up to see the following: a beach with a cloudy sky, with iron urchins and more obstacles as the tide touched the sand. Nobody understood what was happening. Data appeared on the screen. June 6, 1944. Dog Green Sector, Omaha Beach. June 6. What the buck is going on here? The Muslim's question fell on deaf ears because no one answered him. And it was because nobody knew what was happening except for a few. Among them were Almight, Nizu, Momo, Pony, and Melissa. Since that date is one that cannot be forgotten. The scene had changed to one where several boats with dozens of soldiers were approaching a place. In one of those boats, a soldier took his water can to remove the lid and take. That soldier was Izuku. Although many were not surprised that he appeared, those who knew what was happening were afraid to see that what was coming would not be pretty. He focused on Izuku along with another young man who had brown hair and honey eyes, also dressed as a soldier. There were more soldiers and they were all older than them. The image stopped. I'm going to pause here to explain something. The partner next to Izuku is a friend of his named Hyoto Issei. Both, despite being young, rose to be high commands. Izuku is a captain and Issei is a sergeant. That had surprised many. Izuku platoon captain? Now that's something else. The image continued again and showed the boats moving through the rough waters and soldiers vomiting due to seasickness. The driver spoke. Clear the ramp. 30 seconds. God bless you. Port row, starboard row. You must avoid mortar fire from soldiers. Izuku spoke in a commanding tone. I want to see a lot of space between one and the other. 5 men is a good shot. 1 man is a waste of ammunition. Issei gave instructions so that the soldiers would not be easy targets. Don't let sand get into your guns. Keep the bolts clean. We'll see you on the beach. Can someone explain to me what is happening? Jiro asked, not understanding what was happening. The day of the landing, the Normandy massacre. Everyone, upon hearing All Might's word, massacre, already had an idea of where this was going. The soldiers were seen waiting nervously for what was going to happen. Some scared. Other serious ones. And some asking God to get out alive. A crank turned signaling that the ramp was going down. Those who knew what was going to happen just looked serious. Watch out for mortar fire. Once the ramp went down, the massacre began. The first soldier was shot in the chest. Another soldier in the head that had pierced his helmet. And then more. The shots kept coming, killing those who had not even left the boat. What the hell is going on? Was Monoma's cry. He didn't understand how he could pay for something like that. And he wasn't the only one. Several were in shock and others could not even speak. From the bunkers you could see soldiers firing their machine guns at the boats, riddling any poor soldier who had the misfortune of being in their path. They were killing them without mercy. Jump overboard. Overboard. When Izuku jumped, he looked at several soldiers who were in the water. Some had heavy equipment that prevented them from reaching the surface, and others were bleeding to death. The bullets reached the water and hit the soldiers who were there, killing them immediately. Others called for help until they drowned. Tsuyu didn't know what to think when she saw all that underwater, wanting to go help them. It can't be. Ochako had her hands over her mouth because of the act she was seeing. He looked at Izuku, who had a soldier at his side, and both of them walked, stepping on bodies of their fallen comrades in the sea. The surviving soldiers took refuge in the iron hedgehogs to avoid the bullets from those terrifying machine guns. In the bunker, the Germans continued to shoot mercilessly, killing anyone who dared to invade the beach. The sound of those machine guns began to terrify the students. Izuku and that soldier crawled to a hedgehog, but the soldier was shot in the chest, already killing him. What the buck happened? Bakugo shouted in shock when he saw what they were like when he saw him coming. That soldier died so quickly. This was not a common fight or one between heroes and villains. It was a war. And Izuku was losing. The Germans continued to shoot, and it was seen that those who managed to get out of the water were hit by the bullets. A mortar explosion hit a soldier, leaving him without a leg. Izuku arrived an iron hedgehog. At that moment there was a tense silence in which the green-haired boy did not have his helmet and looked around. A soldier who was sheltered in a hedgehog but was totally terrified. Katsuki would say something about cowardice, but seeing the situation he was in, he decided for the first time to keep his words to himself. Then Izuku looked away. A soldier with a flamethrower was seen walking, but he was hit by a bullet, causing his tank to explode and be devoured by fire along with 2 other soldiers. This shocked Shoto, who, despite knowing the damage his flames could cause, never imagined killing someone with them. Even Endeavor was in shock, even though he didn't show it. Izuku, whose face was stained with blood and salt water, looked away. A soldier who did not have his right arm was searching for something on the ground, caring little if a bullet hit him. When he found what he was looking for, which was his arm, he went straight forward, leaving those watching stunned. Was that guy really crazy? In the end, Izuku looked to his left, and it was that a troop boat was on fire, and the soldiers were coming out wrapped in them. They were running around like headless chickens, and some of those who were there tried to help them by taking them to the water. It was all a total genocide. Izuku's gaze was one that everyone understood. How did we get to this? Still shaking and not knowing how, he put on his helmet even though it had water and blood getting a little wet. A soldier spoke in silence. And he came to his senses. "What the hell are we supposed to do, sir?" was the cry of the soldier trying to obtain an order. "Get out of there! That's what you should do, damn it!" Pony shouted, speaking in her native language when she saw what was happening. "What are you waiting for, Midoriya? Come out now! Get them out!" shouted Tenya, seeing his friend's lack of mobility. "Deku-kun! Do something!" Ochako had tears in her eyes as she watched all that carnage. "Midoriya Shonen, move them already!" Almight shouted. "Captain Midoriya! Captain Midoriya!" Izuku saw that about 20 meters away it was Sergeant Hyoto Issei trying to get his attention. "Captain Midoriya! Sergeant Hyoto! Get your men off the beach! Now!" he ordered immediately when he saw that everything was going to shit. "Did you all hear? Don't separate and follow me!" shouted the brown-haired man, giving orders to his men. "Where will the meeting be, Captain?" asked a soldier. "Anywhere but here." "Move them already, Midoriya!" Aizawa shouted when he saw that they didn't move. The soldiers advanced a little, even with the sound of the bullets. There were corpses floating in the water, and the same blood dyed the beach red. "To the sand wall. We have to go there." "Sir, I'm staying," shouted a soldier, afraid to leave the safe zone. "We have to move so that more can disembark." "But sir, this is the only thing that separates us from the final judgment." "Are you stupid? That place is not safe anymore," Mandalay screamed when she saw that they did not want to fight for their lives. "Listen to me. This whole beach is their target. If you stay here, you will die." "That's right. They have to move," Pixie Bob wanting them to get to safety. "In a place like that, all they have left is to keep moving forward," Mirio said, hoping that Izuku would be able to control the situation. The soldiers advanced even among corpses and iron hedgehogs. The whistling of bullets can still be heard, and those damned Germans kept shooting. He focused on a young soldier who had his intestines outside his body and was screaming in agony. "Mom! Mom! Hiya! Shoot him so he doesn't suffer anymore," Nemuri shouted, seeing that no one was helping him. The older ones like Gran Torino and Recovery Girl were silent without saying or commenting anything. Izuku continued to advance between obstacles while some soldiers were riddled with bullets. "What company are you a soldier in?" he asked the soldier who had a typewriter. "Medical Battalion 104, sir. We were going to set up a command post." "Drop that shit. Grab the damn weapon and follow me." "What kind of idiot carries a typewriter in the middle of a war?" Mina was angry at the ineptitude of that soldier. Another soldier let out a cry of pain and agony, having a wound in his stomach. Izuku tried to go to him to help him. "I'm hurt. God! A doctor! A doctor! He shouted, waiting for medical help. Get him out of there, Midoriya-kun. Momo was enduring everything she saw. Sapper Battalion. I must remove the obstacles for the tanks. Tanks? Which ones if there aren't any? Siro said when he saw that there were no armored vehicles to help the soldiers. The armored vehicles sank in the water. I'm just following orders, sir. You must leave. I'm going to blow up this obstacle. Izuku grabbed the wounded soldier and dragged him through the sand by the collar of his uniform, screaming for a medic. Get him out of there. Get him out, Midoriya Shonen. All might wish that his successor would save that soldier. But not everything is possible. A mortar blast exploded near him, leaving him stunned. He got up to take the soldier again, but when he dragged him he felt less heavy. He looked to see that he was now only half a soldier, falling to the sand in complete shock. How the hell had this happened? My baby, Izuku's mother cried, seeing her son in that state of complete fear. The green-haired boy had no choice but to get up, take his weapon and go to the sand wall. Some soldiers who had explosives equipment and flamethrowers followed him, passing obstacles and soldiers screaming in agony. Luckily for him, he had reached the wall. For now that was the only place almost safe from bullets. There was a soldier with a radio. Beach unit. Not a single armored or amphibian vehicle reached the beach. There is no corridor in this part. How is Midoriya going to deal with this? Tamaki wondered, hoping that things would get better. Who's in charge? You, sir, said a soldier while others dug in the sand. Sergeant Hyodo. Do you know where we are? The chestnut tree was only 6 meters away. In the planned place, but no one else is. Nobody is where they should be, sir. Izuku spoke to the radio operator. Beach unit. The first wave failed. We have not taken the beach, I repeat. We have not taken the beach. There are only a few of us, sir. Remnants of Company F, Company A, and Company G, sappers and leaders of the beach unit. Izuku went straight to talk to the operator. Beach unit. But he noticed that he was dead as a bullet or shrapnel hit him in the face. So he took the radio himself. Head of the amphibious unit. What? He stopped talking when he saw that the radio was broken. More soldiers arrived at the sand wall, and apparently they were soldiers that both young men knew. Raven here. I haven't seen Jackson. Sir. Here's Benny. Here's Caparzo. DeForest is here with Wade. He's like a sieve. Wade says he's dying. The image focused on 3 medical soldiers, including the one mentioned above, who was trying to stop a hemorrhage. I'm a battalion doctor, sir. Really? There's a massacre, and he starts helping while being exposed to bullets? Mineta shouted, not believing what he was seeing. Get their attention. Wade. 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 Come back here, Wade, it's too dangerous. The doctor did not listen, and the 3 continued to attend to the massacre. Get him off the beach. Now. Izuku ordered when he saw that the doctor did not obey. How stupid is that guy? Nijire was not one to shout, but even she got angry seeing that. I stopped the bleeding. I stopped the bleeding. He thought that he would be able to save that soldier. But a bullet hit the wounded man's helmet, killing him. All his effort was in vain. Shit! Give us a damn chance, you sons of hitches. I hope you all die. He shouted at the Germans, furious at what had happened. One of the soldiers managed to reach him and dragged him to the sand wall where the doctor was crying with rage at not being able to help. Recovery Girl knew what was going on with that boy. Not everyone can be saved, especially if it is a war. Is that all of you? Is there no one else left? We separated a lot, sir, but there must be more. They are not enough, more are needed. The exit from Sector 1 must be on the left or the right. No, we are in the right place, this is Sector 1. Both young people debated where they were to plan what to do. Everyone was surprised by the ease with which they spoke even in the middle of a war. They are shooting us. They are not giving us a single chance. It is not fair. Gather weapons and ammo, gather them quickly. Come on, get those out of the sand. Quick! The soldiers surrounded by both went towards the bodies to obtain weapons. Although there were also wounded people who asked for help, but their weapons were taken away. There is no way to help them all, said Gran Torino, feeling sorry for that soldier. Raven, where the hell is your weapon? At the bottom of the canal. That bastard wanted to drown me. Find another one. The soldier searched the sand for a weapon that could serve him. There is plenty to choose from, my friend, commented Kamui. Charges. Explosive charges. Bring them. Several soldiers passed green tubes and distributed them at different points on the sand wall and the wire fence. A Bangalore, effective explosive for trenches and barbed wire, said Melissa, taking those explosives as a reference for a personal project. Izuku was assembling the Bangalore along with another soldier who was Caparzo. Then a soldier appeared with a sniper rifle and threw himself into the sand. Jackson. Sir. They were asking about him, Tora said, not forgetting that name. Everyone was preparing the explosives, hoping it would work. The doctor who was Wade was attending to a soldier who had a horrible wound on his shoulder and was screaming in pain. Tried to calm him down. Boy Recovery couldn't help but advise that doctor. Everyone was preparing their explosives. One of them who was assembling the explosive was shot in the head, but it bounced off, leaving him stunned and taking off his helmet. Don't take off your helmet, Kirishima shouted, knowing that this was a bucking mistake. How lucky you are, a soldier told him, and then he was shot in the head and died. Stupid, was Tetsutetsu's whisper when he saw that. The explosives were being armed and they were already preparing by pulling the fuses. Protection. Charge activated. Izuku shouted to his men. Charge activated. A soldier shouted. Activated. Issei shouted. Charge activated. Wade shouted as he covered the wounded man he was treating with his body. Get rid of that shit, Bakugo shouted. And in less than a second a sequence of explosions damaged the sand wall and the wire fence, creating a breach towards the enemy trenches. But above a ravine there was a fort where Germans with MG-42 machine guns were positioned there. The young sergeant gave the order to advance. We'll go through the trench, crossing the hole. Izuku along with Issei and more men entered through the gap and took shelter in the walls of the bunker. The green-haired man looked out, but some bullets almost hit him. Deku-kun, be careful. Ochako was more worried now. They were back to square one. A bayonet, your chewing gum, soldier. He obtained those objects and created a mirror to see without having to risk. That was very rational and intelligent, Aizawa commented, seeing that he used his brain instead of going crazy. 2 MG-42s, 2 mortars, 20 others, left 30. Issei crawled over to grab the mirror and look at it. There is a perfect gorge to shoot through. We could get there if we had armored protection. We have to take that gap. We have to take it. How the hell are you going to do it? Kaminari asked, knowing that a small mistake would be worse. I'd better think of something before the dead get closer together, Tokoemi said, seeing that there were few options. Raven. Smell us. The war starts now. Take cover and take out those machine guns. Taylor and Bernardo, John. Cole. Get ready. Both positioned themselves to shoot and the aforementioned ready to go. Cover them, open fire. They started shooting with covering fire and the aforementioned went directly to the agreed place. They fired back and forth, but it didn't come to anything. Something Izuku could see through his mirror. Shonen, you have to think about something. All Might was going through a tense moment. It's a firing squad. Issei didn't like it at all. It's the only way to get them all out. Shun. Peyton. Majora. Burns. It's their turn. Why don't we blindfold them? You would do them a favor, Setsuna agreed with Sergeant Issei. In war it's life, shoot and cover them. Izuku along with other soldiers fired to give cover to those mentioned by him. He gave them a chance, and they got in as best they could. Quick! Hurry! Quick! Quick, damn it! Time is money, hurry up! You empty lady hurried. The soldiers continued to shoot at the fort but made no progress. Something Izuku looked at in the mirror. Now let's see how you plan to get out of this. Midori and Nizu drinking his tea paid attention to this. There had to be some way to take the breach and Izuku only had his best man left. Jackson. Yes, sir. Do you see that crack left by the explosion? That place will protect you from the machine guns. Go and maintain fire discipline. Wait for my orders. The sniper prepared himself by kissing his cross. He was Catholic. God, please don't abandon him. Ibra prayed for that soldier. But suddenly something happened that no one expected. Izuku came out of cover to draw the attention of the machine guns. What are you doing? Ragdoll screamed in terror. Now! He crouched down and Jackson ran straight to the ordered place, managing to escape the machine gun fire. Captain, if your mother saw you doing that, she would die of fear. I thought you were my mother. What the sergeant said was true. The lady was fainting and the teachers were trying to help her. Don't go away from me, O Lord. He fired and managed to hit a German who was using the machine gun. Not bad, Snipe praised. On the beach, while there were still soldiers there was one who was a father and listened to the sins of one who wanted to confess. Another had a rosary and prayed for the nightmare to end. Give me help, I need your strength. Trust in him and you will succeed, he will not abandon you, Ibra said, praying more. Jackson fired another shot and managed to hit the ground that was supporting the weight of the sandbags. At which point the Germans fell and were shot down by the American soldiers, dying in a cruel way. It was about time those German idiots got their turn, Pony said at last, satisfied with that. Exit Sector 1. This way. Move forward. Following the captain and the sergeant, everyone entered the German trenches, exchanging fire with them. Now it was a full-blown war and the Germans could not contain them. They didn't manage to reduce all their numbers. It was inevitable that they could do something to stop them. How right Tsuyu was. Izuku along with Issei and more soldiers went straight to the bunker, throwing grenades to make them leave. 2 American soldiers shot a German, and then 2. Then they went down to the entrance. Hurry up, Poil. He hurried the one with a flamethrower. They were already ready to clean that bunker. He's not going to do what I think he's going to do, is he? Ojiro asked, hoping he's wrong. Sergeant. Issei threw a grenade and it exploded inside. Flamethrower. Poil forward. Yes, he will, shouted the invisible girl. And within seconds the bunker exploded into flames, causing the Germans to burn in agony. Don't shoot. Let them burn. Germans were coming out engulfed in flames, and it was truly a horrible death to witness. I'm speechless, said Endeavor, knowing what those Nazis must suffer. The soldiers were still fighting in the trenches against the Germans. But then they saw them raise their hands and surrender. Of course, before understanding that they killed someone accidentally. Something that made some heroes pat themselves on the head for such a mistake. I'm going to kill you, you bastard! Turn around! Turn around! Another explosion occurred and several Germans tried to flee through the trenches. The soldiers chased them, but Izuku and his men intercepted them, killing them in a hail of bullets. All this happened before the eyes of the spectators, and some closed their eyes so as not to see it. One of the worst ways to die. Stop fire! Stop fire! Stop! Stop! Stop fire! Issei stopped when he saw that they were already dead. That was completely unnecessary, and irrational. Aizawa said it harshly. Even war has its rules and limits. Sweet King, Sweet Charlie 3 Sector 1 taken, I repeat, Sector 1 taken, send in bulldozers, I'll wait here with my platoon. It was Izuku speaking on the radio with the commander. But 2 men dressed as Germans came out with their hands up, speaking in a language that 2 soldiers nearby did not understand. That? The man spoke again. What? I'm sorry, I don't understand anything you're saying. And without mercy they shot them both, killing them. Imbeciles. They were surrendering. Kendo shouted at such a war crime he saw. What did he say? What did he say? Asked his companion. I have clean hands, ha 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 ha. Izuku looked at this, not at all happy with what he saw. Then he looked at his men, and some were just serious. Others were relieved to escape the massacre alive. But one of them started crying for everything that had happened. No one can assimilate that so easily. In fact, not everyone in the room could assimilate it, even though they had not experienced it firsthand. Issei took out an aluminum container from his things and filled it with soil to then store it along with others that had names of places like Africa, England, Italy, and now France. A nice memory. Blad King did not deny that he would have done the same if he were in another country. Both young people looked from where they were all over the beach. What a landscape, Izuku. That's right, Issei, quite a landscape. That day, the sight of the beach full of fallen soldiers and the water dyed red would never be forgotten in the minds of either of them. That day will never be forgotten, either will the spectators. Bad boys, one half. They had all gone to a dining room where they talked about what they had seen. It must be said that they were not comfortable with what they had seen. This was to see what D-Day was like. Still, they couldn't help but praise how Izuku led and was a total veteran in the war along with his friend. Hope appeared in front of a large door looking at everyone and was now enjoying a delicious chocolate cake. Hello everyone, I hope you are all calm now, although I am sorry if I gave trauma to anyone, but you should know that these events tend to happen daily. Nobody said anything to the god. Well, in about 15 minutes I'll show you another universe. But first let me introduce you to some guests that my colleagues asked me to come here. But first. With a single click, the god had the perverted dwarf surrounded by a circle that was spinning, throwing sparks, and without further ado, he disappeared. The sudden act frightened the others. Although the female audience silently, and with a look, thanked God, because they were already fed up with that little troll trying to look under their dresses and skirts. May I know why you did this? Aizawa was upset by such an act. It was necessary. I don't want a maniac bothering my next guests. From the doors behind him, these opened. The heroes were waiting for someone to appear. Hello, I welcome you all. A sphere of dark crimson energy headed towards the god, leaving the heroes and students surprised. But the sphere became nothing more than dust, dispersing in the wind. Where is my IC? An 18-year-old red-haired girl came out of the door, holding in her hands the same energy of the attack that the god neutralized. Calm down, Rias Gremory, he's fine. Rias, control yourself. Then another 18-year-old girl came out, with jet black hair tied in a ponytail. Then more came out. The rest of the Gremory nobility accompanied by Ravel and Irina. Serorg with his queen. Vala and his team. The Mouse Surzex along with Graphia, who was searching everywhere for someone. Zeoticus, the patriarch of the Gremory family, along with Venelana, who had the same goal as Graphia. Sona, Tsubaki and Saji along with Momo Hanakai. Azazel with Barakwheel. Michael and Gabriel. Yasaka was helped by Sarah Fall, who, like Lucifer's maid, was looking for someone with her eyes. And finally the Norse god Odin. Everyone came out and looked, but they were also interested in the people in front of them. Well, let me introduce you. Do you remember that brown-haired person you saw on D-Day? Well, these people who just arrived are acquaintances of Issei Hyodo. That had surprised everyone in the BNHA universe. Tell me where Miyaisi is. Where is Milikas? Asked Graphia. Where is Kuno? And also Yasaka. Calm down, Issei is with Izuku since I put him in the same treatment as him, and the children are with Ariel. The god created two images where those in DxD saw the brown-haired boy surrounded by a green aura next to a boy they did not know. And in the other image they saw the god's assistant taking care of Milikas and Kuno along with other children playing like the little ones they are. That calmed them down a bit. Any other questions you want to ask? I have one. Before you said that somehow our universes or dimensions were beginning to relate. How is that? Very good question, Azazel. You see, I'm going to give you an example that you can understand. From the sides of the god appeared two trees made of golden light. These trunks are your universes. Each trunk of an individual universe is strong. No matter what we gods like me do, we could not change or alter the trunk, but what we are allowed to do is create branches. Suddenly those branches began to grow, thousands of branches were being created. Some remained golden and even shone more. Others were completely dark, giving both groups a feeling that those black branches are nothing good. But what some noticed was that some branches merged with others from another tree. And what about those branches that are attached to our tree? Nisa asked. These branches are unions in which sometimes gods like me unite both universes, which we find interesting. I mean, just think about it, humans with powers facing supernatural beings. That had aroused the curiosity of both parties. But, and what about the black branches? Asked the fallen leader. Those are dark branches, and those branches are universes where the gods create more evil than good. In those universes, the protagonists either lose someone important that leads them to the dark side, or their friends, their mentors, even their families betray them. That outraged your groups. A lot of things happened with both boys, so much that thinking about betrayal is just tremendous stupidity. I would never betray my Deku/IC. It was the scream of a brunette and a redhead who looked at each other for saying that at the same time. I know, unfortunately other gods don't care about that, the god told them. And you can't do something? Tashinori asked, worried about those versions of his heir and student. I can't, there is an unwritten law that dictates this. If you don't mess with someone, they won't mess with you. The gods that do this kind of things abound, and I along with my colleagues couldn't do something since they don't reason, or they just like to do it for pleasure. But don't worry, in the branches that I believe this kind of things don't happen. They each looked at each other, fearing that these kinds of things would happen or make their versions in those universes. Rias and Ochako feel that it is better not to ask more if their versions make the versions of their loved ones suffer. They were afraid that the god would say yes to them. But now that things are clear, take 20 minutes to get to know each other better. Who knows, maybe both parties will benefit from each other. When the god disappeared, both parties began to talk. The adults exchanged some information between them, Azazel and Nisa. The teachers spoke to the leaders of the underworld and heaven, expressing some things. Boys like Kiba, Gasper, Biko, and Arthur talked to the young people from both classes of the hero course, and they showed them their quirks, which surprised them. Although Katsuki looked at Vala with some hostility, he felt his desire to fight, and he smiled at him, knowing that it could be entertaining. Odin was talking to Recovery Girl and Gran Torino, who, being older, took things easy. So much so that they had a few drinks. As for the girls, they all talked about their lives, and unlike the boys, there was no hostility or rivalry. Among them were Rias and Ochako. My name is Rias Gremory. Uraraka Ochako, I hope there are no problems. None, after all we are trapped here, although I don't see the bad thing. Me either, after all we are making more friends, and besides hope helps our friends. You mentioned a certain Deku, didn't you? Yes, although his name is Midoriya Izuku, and he is my best friend. Friend? I thought he was your boyfriend. That made the brunette blush so much that she accidentally activated her quirk and began to float in the air, leaving the redhead surprised. I am not his girlfriend. Uraraka-san, stop your floating. She realized two things. If she was floating, then the redhead was in the air thanks to black demon wings on her back. Something that surprised her. With Ria's help, she managed to reach the ground. And then they started laughing. I must admit that was very funny. I know, are you and Hyoto in a relationship? Asked the brunette. I am his girlfriend and the first of his harem. Ha, harem! The redhead with a smile spoke about the subject to Ochako. It must be said that the Gravity Girl's face was redder than her hair. She would be envious. After embarrassments. How do you do it, Rias-san? I mean, how can you express your feelings with Issei-san without fear? I would be afraid to just tell how I feel to Deku-kun. I don't know, Ochako-chan, I just do what my heart tells me. She had doubts about it since she had promised herself to forget those feelings and concentrate on being a heroine. But after seeing those universes and knowing that some of their versions betray their own Izukus, they have made him change his mind. But he doesn't know how. Ochako-chan, how about I help you with that? Would you do it? Of course I would, since from what we realized, we are very affected in those dark universes. I think it is my duty to help a colleague who is unfairly discriminated against. She looked down. According to what Hope told me, I betrayed Deku-kun for money or other things, but I would never do something like that to him. He has been my friend and someone very important to me, so much so that now he is in my heart, and I wish nothing more than to make him happy. The same thing happens to me. Icy has saved me from a life of suffering and pain. He has been there for me in the worst moments, and we have come out ahead. Thinking that I would betray him just to seek experience makes me feel disgusted with myself. I love Icy and I will be with him no matter the adversity. They both looked at each other. Those gods use their versions for that kind of thing, but the real fact is that it doesn't matter what they do. They will never change to what they want. They are and always will be, even if it hurts them, those who are in the hearts of their partners. After 20 minutes, the doors of the cinema room opened. Sign that they now had to go see another universe. They were entering and some took their places. There were more seats for those from DXD. They were somewhat mixed, but in the end each one took its place. Inko and Venelana sat together, who knows for what reason. Odin and veterans like Gran Torino and Recovery Girl. Mizu and All Might along with the leaders. The girls from DXD together with the ones from BNHA. The boys too, although there was some hostility on the part of Bomberman towards the descendant of Lucifer. And so it went on until the god appeared drinking an apple drink. Well, my dear guests, get ready, because here we have a universe that you are somewhat familiar with, so stay tuned for whatever happens. Make yourselves comfortable and get ready to see Bad Boys 2. The screen went blank and then showed an image of a swamp at night. A cross was burned. The nuns like Asia, Zenobia, Irina and Ibera didn't like that. The people who were near the cross were dressed in white. They were Chuchu's clan. They are the most racist I know, were Azazel's words, and the other adults agreed. White power, said one with a beard. White power, said another. But when the camera focused on another who had his face covered, he uncovered himself, taking out 2 Glock 17s. And it wasn't white. Issei? Was the name his girl said. Another one took off his peaked hood and also had a Glock 17. And it wasn't white either. Deku-kun, was also what the UA girls said. White power, my balls. Miami police, said the brown-haired man pointing his guns. Oh God, it's the yellows, said the green-haired boy mockingly. Gasparin drops the bag. Alpha leader sends them. Era, I see that Issei is very bold. Bad boys, what to gonna you, I'm the cops for you. I remember that song was very popular in police shows, was what All Might said. Me too, Endeavor agreed. But Izuku said more, the letters screwing up. That's not how the song goes, Deku, said the Muslim. And I suppose you know the lyrics? Of course, half and half. You must learn the Deku letter. We always sing the IC chorus. The scene changed to one where they were following classic cars that were driven by Haitians. Throughout the entire persecution, those Haitians pursued only one person. That's me. What do those Haitians want with you, Rias? It was a mess. Cars and a boat flew off the highway. How did it get there? Who knows? In the end, there was an argument between her and the green-haired boy. It seems that they are something like brothers. Something that surprised the audience. The scene now changed where both young police officers tactically entered a half-abandoned house. It was the house of the Haitians. Issei kicked the door and both with gun in hand entered the half-dark place. But from the glass of some doors about 4 Haitians were waiting for them with weapons. There's shit, Saji cursed. Issei-san, get out of there, Asia shouted. Midoriya! Without warning, the Haitians began to shoot, and they threw themselves to the ground, returning fire. Izuku took cover behind the bathroom frame, and Issei was between the 2 doors where they were shooting. Several sighed when they saw that those 2 were fine. Who is it? It's my house. I'm the devil. Who's asking? Those from DXD laughed at the irony of those words, since he literally is a devil. The devil is not welcome here. Don't act like it. The devil lives in this house. Crazy. Everyone laughed again. This is all your fault. You're in my house. And you are in my country. Buck you. I'm going to kill you, bastard. Buck you, you idiot. Marika. Buck you. The brown-haired boy responds to the insults. Go to hell, you damn policeman. I see. Do you have to fight with everyone? The green-haired boy asks him from where he was. Even Midoriya knows that responding to insults is unnecessary. Aizawa agreed with his student, being somewhat disappointed with the brown-haired boy's quarrelsome attitude. That idiot thinks he's king? Yes. You called me a faggot, huh? Hey, stop arguing and spray him with bullets and that's it. Do it or die, bro. A bullet in the head will ruin your extensions. I like this, Issei. I would like to meet him, was what Vala said. Swallow a bullet. Swallow shit. The Haitians began shooting and the police duo returned fire. Bullets were everywhere, and so far there were no injuries. For UA students this was something unusual since firearms were rarely used, although they must remember that it was in a dimension where quirks do not exist. Why don't you come out where I can see you? Why is he not an idiot to do that, were Kaniko's words in response to the Haitian's stupid question. We just want to talk. Do you forget the situation you are in? Even Namiri knows that you cannot discuss these types of situations with guys like that. Talk to them? Go ahead and do it. Issei allowed him. We are not from immigration. He tried to speak but they kept shooting. Shit, why don't you listen to me? They can't hear you because they're shooting at us. After that he shot again. That's more than obvious, was Mirio's comment. Bucking Haitians in a bucking shack with bucking weapons, buck. Let's see how this works out. Gran Torino was interested. The shooting continued and so far there were no deaths, but Izuku had to move until he was next to a toilet. I have to go back to my family. Damn, he said as he reloaded his gun. He shot a Haitian who managed to hit him in the chest. Damn idiot, you shot my brother! That other Haitian fired with his AK-47. The bullets were hitting everywhere except the green-haired boy, and thanks to the impact of these he got his face wet with that water. The girls, and I mean all of them, were disgusted by that. One of them from a hole in the wall fired his gun trying to hit Izuku, but Issei stealthily did the same. He put his gun in the hole, and when the Haitian tried to see, I got you. It was already late. Bang! Everyone was in shock because of that. What an idiot! Momo did not hold back her opinion. Unhappy! You killed him! Bastard! You're going to regret it. The one with the shotgun continued shooting, now more scared to see his fallen companion. But Issei was smarter. He took a spray can and threw it inside and then fired it, scorching the guy, leaving him with burning eyes. The last one with the AK kept shooting. I'm going to kill you, you unhappy dog. Issei looked in a mirror where he was and had an idea. He shot at the mirror and took a good piece of it to see from a good angle and shoot through the wall. Come! Come for my hitch! You won't take me alive! But before. You have 3 seconds to drop the weapon. At least it gives him a chance to surrender, was what Tamaki said. I have a little gift for you. A nice gift. I already feel sorry for him, Nijire said, somewhat disappointed. 1. The Haitian shot blindly. 2. I'm going to kill you. Bang. I was warned, Kamui Wood said it. He didn't hesitate to kill him. I see that he is someone cold-blooded, you also said it. Era. I loved that a little Akino was excited to see her beloved kill mercilessly. Per Haitians. Asia, don't cry for scum like them since they asked for it by shooting Issei already. What do they say his name is? Asked Zenobia. It's Midoriya Izuku, but we call him Deku, which is his hero name, said Tsuyu. The scene changed to one where a young brunette woman was seen fixing a teenage girl's hair. That's me? Wow, Ochako-chan, it's you, and your Aries mom. Mina's words made the brunette blush, making the redhead laugh. Of course, after preventing the roof from going away. I think they are becoming friends. And what is that boy's name? His name is Koda. Izuku is Aries' first date. Dad, don't scare him. He knows you're a police officer, and he can get nervous, Eri told him, hoping that nothing embarrassing would happen. And why? Do you like crack? He asked again, bringing more laughter to everyone. Although Ochako could see that Izuku was not only jealous but also very worried about his daughter. Deku-kun will be a good father. You should fight with even more reasons, Ochako-chan. A boy like him is not found anywhere. I know, Ria-san, thank you. The scene changed to one where Izuku went to get his things and Issei looked at a yearbook where their young photos were. Some written letters that said, "We walk together, we die together, bad boys forever." That gave a smile to many. It was shown that there was a side of brotherhood between them. We're getting old, my friend. Some idiot comes to take my baby out on his first date. The door rang out, and Izuku abruptly opened it, staring hostilely at the boy. Who the hell are you? Mr. Midoriya, I'm Koda. Koda? He's grown up. It was Mandalay who was surprised by that. What are you doing here? I'm here to pick up Eri. What? I'm here to pick up Eri, he said it louder. It seems that he will have no mercy, Shoto said, smiling. Your age? 15, Mr. Midoriya. Well, you look 20. Your ID, he asked for it. Actually, he looks 20. Kirishima was laughing a little. I don't have any, sir. You don't have it? Put your hands on that wall. He puts him against the wall and starts to check him. Which made the men laugh even more. What's your problem? You think you know everything, juvenile delinquents? I hadn't found anything strange about him. Do you have a touch? No, sir. Do you smoke drugs? No, sir. Do you want my daughter to get hooked on that thing? Like every good father, he does his things, Yatakas commented, agreeing with that. Hey Deku! Who's at the door? It's Koda! Who the buck is Koda? He's coming to pick up Eri. Those from DXD had been surprised to see Issei with a bottle of cognac and looking at the young man in a threatening manner. What's up, dude? I'm here to pick up Eri. Do you have a name? Koda. I heard this idiot say your name is Koda. Are you here for Eri? Now he joined the bullying, Zero said, enjoying the scene. Yes, sir. Your age? 15 years. 15? I see you at 20. This is Icy. Do you know how to fight? The young man nodded nervously. If you fight? Don't tell me you know how to fight, just look at yourself. That brought out more laughter, leaving the Issei harem and some UA students not seeing the funny side. I see, don't bother him. No, he doesn't even know how to wipe his nose. If someone is going to take my niece out, I want to know if the guy knows how to fight. If they could say something to him, and if this idiot doesn't know how to fight, she won't go. You're right in what he says, Arthur commented, agreeing with him. He's Eri's godfather, okay? He just got out of jail. You bastard, why do you show my problems on the street? They call him. I just got out of jail and I'm not going back. I'm not going back. She pulled out a gun and Koda got scared when he saw her, causing those laughs to turn into guffaws and almost the majority. What's wrong, crazy? Come on, don't be scared. Have you never seen a weapon like that? Stop pointing that gun at him. Listen, man, don't disrespect me when we have company. For Kota, this was getting out of control. Hey, I don't see the joke in that, said Pony, looking at his companions. Are you kidding? It's funny for us, Kaminari replied. Man, you dress like you were a black freestyler or something. You rap? Move, black, get out of here. If I see your face again, I'll put a bullet in you. I see now. I had already calmed him down, apparently. Listen, I want my daughter home at 10:1. If she's not home at 10:1, I'll be in the car. I'll be armed and you're going to regret ever being born. Do you hear me? Tell me if you understand, Koda? I should have used that technique when that boy was dating my daughter. Barakiel was in his thoughts. And if I'm here, do you know what's going to happen? Cheery cheery, bang bang, that's going to happen. Izuku. Someone is in trouble, Bakugo said, smiling like he knows. Kodaku, and I'm so sorry. Forgive Eri's dad and his stupid friend. Are you a virgin? Yes. Well, keep it up because no one is going to get laid tonight. You show who's boss, Azazel said. What a nice shirt, have fun. Have you slept with a man? No. And you want? No, sir. Indeed, he sucked. Everyone agreed at Monoma's words. And with that I was done. And everyone was laughing. Although the girls, and especially those who were interested in Izuku like those in Issei's harem, were somewhat upset. If they were going to behave like this when their daughters have boyfriends, the best option is to correct them once and for all. I think I'm going to have to punish Issei-kun for that. His hands had electricity. This is a behavior that I will not tolerate. Momo had a whip in her hand. Several other girls expressed their opinions. But 2 of them only had ideas of how to discipline their children. Although yes, they will have a very bad time. Spider-Man vs. Octopus. After such a universe of policemen, everyone was talking since they had left the room to be able to socialize more. But shiny! Bakugo launched an explosion at a magic shield which barely resisted. That shield belonged to Vala, who accepted the challenge of the bomb with legs. After such an attack, he looks at him and says, "That's all?" The Muslim with his explosions rose into the air and launched another stronger explosion, trying to break the silver-haired man's magical barriers, but he could barely make him retreat, so he tried a different approach. He approached and threw punches which were masterfully evaded and blocked by Vala. "Not bad, kid, but you still have a long way to go before you can land a hit." I took him by the wrist and suddenly felt his strength begin to wane, making him weaker. Something that those in Izuku's universe noticed. "Baku bro. Get out of there." "It's late," said the leader of the Fallen. In the fight, the Bomberman was now on his knees trying to break free, but with every second he felt weaker. "What's wrong? Is that all you can do? I can bet that your broccoli head partner would have made me sweat if I faced him. After all, I see that he thinks more with his head, unlike you. You only think with your explosions." "Shut up. I'm sorry, but you're the one who's going to keep quiet." With the other hand, he was going to launch a magic attack to finish it off. Something that the Yue and Aizawa saw and were going to stop him, but a barrier prevented them. And when it was going to happen, snap! A snap made Vala's magic go away. "Well, the time to play is over, ladies and gentlemen. Now I recommend you come see the next universe, and believe me, I swear you will love it." Vala released Katsuki and, smiling smugly, went with his group, leaving a red-eyed blonde with a look full of hate and resentment. Once everyone was in their places, the god appeared in front of the screen. Before starting, there are some children who want to see the show. From a circular portal with rotating sparks coming out of its edges, 4 children emerged, smiling alongside Ariel, who smiled in a motherly manner. The children went straight to their parents/guardians, waiting with a smile full of excitement. And there are also 4 people who will fall in 3, 2, 1. 3 people came out of a portal. Ryukyu the dragon heroine, Mirko the rabbit heroine, Hawks the winged hero, and Fat Gum the fat hero. It took at least a few minutes to explain what was happening, and among them newcomers there was one who, after the explanation, looked for a certain freckled broccoli. "Well, it's about time. First, let me give you a summary. In this universe, Izuku Midoriya is not a hero but a vigilante. That surprised those at BNHA, since the Watchers were in their eyes criminals for using their quirks without a license, breaking the law. This was not because he wanted to, but because he saved a woman from being raped with a power he obtained mysteriously. More so, when he prevented that attempted grape, a disheveled man with sleep problems, instead of analyzing the situation, wanted to enforce the law even if Izuku saved a woman from a lifelong trauma. Everyone looked at Aizawa, some with curiosity, others with some disappointment, and some certain girls with anger. "A question, Aizawa? Would you arrest someone who did the right thing? Using your quirk without a license is not the right thing to do. I'm not talking about the law, but about the moral and human aspect. I don't take it out on you since you're not that, Aizawa, but there are times when you leave me with an image of a man who follows laws and orders like a government dog. If one of your superiors told you to eliminate someone, would you do it?" The teacher from 1A didn't say anything. I thought so, but getting back to the subject, after knowing that he would no longer be a legal hero, He thought about giving up, but the same woman who gave him life and accompanied him in his most difficult moments, even before dying of cancer in her last words, told him a phrase that everyone should learn. With great power comes great responsibility. That phrase was engraved in the minds of all young people, whether heroes or demons. Even adults who have had a lot of experience throughout their lives knew the meaning of those words. Although Inko was shocked when she learned that he died of cancer and left his son alone. And that's why he became a vigilante who initially captured thieves, serial killers and rapists, took them to police stations, helped vulnerable women, protected children, didn't let anyone get away with a crime. Unfortunately, the legal heroes only see him as a criminal and try to arrest him, some to enforce the law, others because they think capturing him will give them fame, but Izuku always knows how to escape from heroes, even from All Might himself. That left almost everyone in MHA surprised, because if someone can escape from All Might, they must be faster. But his life as a vigilante affected his normal life. He lost jobs because he didn't arrive on time to save someone. His studies were failing, and one day the girl he secretly loved got engaged to his stalker. Edo, who is that girl? Mina asked. He's here next to a redhead, worried about her dragon. Everyone looked at Ochako, who now felt horrible as she never wanted to be related to the bomb with legs. No! Rias and the other girls gave him their support. Because he feels so sad and has an existential crisis, he ends up losing his powers, and when he sees that he is blamed for many things in the news and newspapers, he decides to stop being a hero, so he throws his suit in the trash on a rainy day and tries to be happy by being free. On the screen you could see a plainclothes Izuku walking calmly, smiling. Then he slips and realizes that he can't see well anymore, so he takes out some round glasses with thin frames and puts them on, walking again happy. Everyone looked at that boy, and especially the girls, because they saw that he had an aura of freedom. They felt happy for him, and even more so when they thought he was cute with those round glasses. Then they see him trying to repair his bike, but when he turns his wheel it comes off its axle and goes to the window, where a loud noise is heard and a person swearing. Sorry, he apologized. Laughter was not expected from everyone, and especially from Ochako, who found it cute how he timidly apologized. They then see him in a park buying a takoyaki, but then he sees several police cars and heroes speeding by due to an emergency. Izuku just watches them and continues eating, knowing that that was no longer his problem. The MHA people had mixed feelings, seeing that since the Izuku they know would never turn a blind eye in an emergency, he always helped. Ochako and the girls were hurt that what happened to him had forced him to stop being a hero. Now you see him with a lot of advanced books studying, and then the scene changes to Midnight, who was teaching math in his general studies class. When the limit is at u equal to 0, the eigenvalues are, does anyone know? Izuku raised his hand and she smilingly pointed at him. 0.23 electrovolts. That's right, said Powerloader. I'm glad Midoriya is dedicated to my class, said the heroine plus 18, very happy. He is a very intelligent boy. I would like to be his teacher, Azazel said, knowing that this intelligence was very useful. Already at the exit, Izuku left his classroom, and then the heroine caught up with him to tell him. Excellent work, Midoriya, don't lose the rhythm. Izuku felt happier now. No responsibility of being a hero. Without fear of being discovered. No strings attached and hatred from legal heroes. Now he is free. That happy smile spread to everyone, and especially to those girls who were beginning to have feelings for Izuku. If it was his decision at some point to stop being a hero, they had to accept it. Everything at that time was great, but with his resignation plus the publication of the newspaper El Clarín, a wave of crimes was unleashed that not even the current #1 endeavor could stop, since all the criminals feared Spider-Man, not forgetting that several heroes resigned when they saw that the situation became difficult, showing that they were only in that job for fame and not for duty. In this, many things are shown, including Izuku walking and seeing how a young man was beaten and assaulted by 2 criminals. Then they assaulted an armored truck, injuring the guards and taking the money, laughing at their ineptitude. And then watching a man coming out of an alley and fixing his clothes a little. Then some people went to that alley and helped a woman who was crying in pain because she was raped. All this seen in one day and without being able to do anything. And the worst thing was that the heroes were unaware of what was happening. Everyone in MHA felt helpless, especially when they saw that these injustices were happening without the heroes doing anything, giving them courage. Then one day, while Izuku was summoned by Ochako, who wanted to see him before her wedding, she tried to talk to him to clear up a doubt she had in her head. "Izuku, do you love me?" He was silent. He wanted to tell her that he loves her. He wanted to tell her that he has loved her since he met her on the beach, but he couldn't. "No, Ochako-san, I don't love you." Ochako cried and was comforted by Rias. This hurt her, but she knew that the freckled boy was trying to protect her. "Kiss me." "What? You want me to kiss you? You're engaged." "I don't care about that, I just want to know if your words are real." They all expected me to say yes. He agreed. At least he wanted a sweet memory before losing her forever from his life. I was going to kiss her, she too. Both were going to join their lips. Everyone was impatient for the kiss, although the men not so much. But Izuku felt something he shouldn't have felt, the pang. A car was heading straight towards the coffee shop, straight towards them. "Careful!" Asia shouted. "Midoriya, get out of there!" Momo shouted. He immediately jumped up and hugged Ochako, who screamed when she heard the glass breaking and the car coming towards them. The car ran over them and hit a wall. Almost everyone in the audience sighed with relief when they saw that they were both okay. Then they felt tremors, and there they saw him. A man in a brown coat, and behind his back 4 long mechanical arms that with each step broke the concrete and asphalt. He was one of Spider-Man's most dangerous enemies. Dr. Octopus. For those of MHA, they didn't see that guy as a threat, but they weren't fooled, since if he was one of Izuku's most dangerous enemies, he must have been very lethal. Do you know a curious fact? Dr. Octopus doesn't have a quirk? That surprised everyone. What the hell? If so, I would have beaten him. He's a useless Quirkless. You'll know why you couldn't even touch it, the god told him, smiling mockingly. Making the blonde growl. Izuku, Midoriya, and his girlfriend. What do you want? The villain with one of his arms took the green-haired man by the neck and brought him closer. I know who you really are, so I'll make it simple for you. Get your suit, and we'll meet at the West Side building at 3. I don't have my powers anymore. He approaches her and takes off his glasses. Get them back. And then 2 more arms frighteningly surround the chestnut. Or I'm going to skin your friend alive, he said, with one of his arms opening and closing his mechanical hands. He's a bastard, Ida cursed. Unhappy. Something that Arthur did not tolerate was that they messed with innocent people. Midoriya will not sit idly by, said Todoroki. If you dare to touch her. What will you do? And then he throws it at a wall where wooden debris covers it. The girls got angry at what that villain did to Izuku. Izuku! But then she gets captured by the villain and tries to free herself using her quirk, but nothing happens. Didn't you know, girl? I have an anti-quirk system that no one within 900 meters around me can use their quirks. It's useful against heroes. That surprised everyone at MHA, as that would be a lethal weapon against the pro heroes. Let me go! Let me go! Izuku! Izuku! She screams, calling the green-haired boy while she is taken to where the villain wanted. While in the rubble, Izuku suddenly came out very angry and went out to the street, but noticed something. He saw blurry with his glasses and clear without them. It was clear that his powers returned. So he dropped his glasses and clenched his fist, determined to save Ochako. It's time for action, said Vala, smiling. You can do it, Dad. You can do it, Deka. It was the children who were happy to see their favorite hero back in action, so much so that it made girls and women feel tender. While in the West Side building, the heroes were surrounding the place a kilometer away, seeing how the villain was there waiting for the guard. Among them were Endeavor, Hawks, Mirko, Ryukyu, Empty Lady, Kamui Woods, Death Arms, Sir Night Eye, and Fat Gum. And on behalf of the UA for saving a student were Aizawa, Power Loader, Midnight, and Ectoplasm. Not forgetting the big 3 of the UA. Mirio! Tamaki! We're there! Nijire said happily. Damn, if it weren't for that invention of yours, we would have stopped you already, said Endeavor, very frustrated. If only he were here. Give up you, he won't come back, we scared him away, now we have to deal with this without his help. Kemui spoke to Empty Lady. I know. It's just that he was a great hero. You're not wrong. Ryukyu told him if I had the chance I would tell him how much I would like to ask him out on a date. Ryukyu blushed at that comment from his other self. Me too, after asking him many questions about his powers. Nijire also said. I agree, said Nijire in the room, who received jealous glances from the other girls. I would have taken him to bed, said the rabbit hero, somewhat frustrated. That made several girls blush and jealous because of such a bold comment from Rumi. As for the rabbit, she smiled at them in defiance, since if her other self says that, it's because that Spider-Man would be strong. While in a Clarion office where J.J. Jameson was, he was worried, smoking a cigar. They still haven't found any trace of your niece. I'm sorry, Jonah. It's my fault I scared Spider-Man away. A clarification. He usually throws shit at Izuku, although it is not known why, said the god, and then received a blow from the angel. And why was that? Language, he replied, pointing at the children. Only he could have stopped Octopus. He is the only one who is not affected by his anti-quirk invention. Yeah. On the wall was a red and blue suit. Is that your outfit? Melissa is surprised to see such a simple outfit. It has no gadgets, no pockets for tools or weapons, it's very simple and thin. May was the same. Although you may not believe it, he never used artifacts to help him in his duty, and his suit is not made of any alloy. He has done everything with his own powers and maximum effort. Everyone was a little scared by the crazy cry of the god. Spider-Man was a hero, and I didn't realize that he was. Then he felt a tug and a strong breeze that he was a thief. He stole my suit. There was a note that said, "Thanks for taking care of my suit, sincerely Spider-Man." Correction, he got his suit back. He Mina commented, laughing a little. It's still wrong for Midoriya to do that. Stealing is not proper for a hero. Ida in his robot attitude preached. Relax, old man, look on the bright side, at least he thanked with a note. Kaminari was the same as Mina. It's a threat to the city. I feel like all the appreciation I had for him has just gone, Kiba commented, smiling. The heroes hear a noise. I want the heroes to prosecute that wall-climbing arachnid. I doubt they can do it, and even more so now, laughed the Nordic god. Some heroes looked at who was approaching. I want him hung from his web. Keep dreaming, my friend. Kuroka laughed at seeing him so angry. The men smiled and the women did the same except for Ryukyu, Nijire and my lady, who had small tears in their eyes when they saw who arrived. Jonah looked out his window and saw it open. And he shouted, I want Spider-Man. I'm back. Everyone was amazed to see the hero in his suit, and there is no doubt that all the young people shouted and whistled with excitement to see him swing towards the battle he was going to fight. Yu's scream cheered them up as he watched Spider-Man pass through the anti-quirk zone without any problem, swinging straight towards Octopus, who was waiting for him with a sinister smile. When he arrived, he hung himself from the lightning rod. Where is it? He demanded seriously. Oh, she's fine. Let's chat. Midoriya. You wanted to say let's fight. Katsuki shouted, ready to see action. He launches himself and dodges a blow from a mechanical arm, and then they engage in a punch fight which Octopus resists well. It's good he concentrates on knocking him out to stop him, Aizawa analyzed. He also doesn't forget the attack of the arms that could give him a bad blow if he's careless. That boy doesn't do badly. Gran Torino smiled at seeing such a performance. He then hits him in the chest, causing him to lose his balance and fall down, clinging to the edge of a clock. Octopus tries to hit him, but Izuku lets go, causing him to hit a steel hand, and it falls off, so they both fall. Be careful, Momo shouted. Come on, Aizu, get well, the red metapod encouraged. Izuku threw web balls, stunning Octopus as he fell, and then threw another web and clung to the edge to finally use his free arm to throw a web at the falling hand, throwing it like an arrow which hit the edge and almost hit Octopus. A few more centimeters and he would be left without a head. I think Midoriya isn't holding back, and that's bad. He needs Octopus alive, Tsuyu commented worriedly. The villain became so angry that he grabbed the handle with his arms and broke it in half to throw the two parts towards Izuku. He avoids them by kicking them, but he couldn't avoid a blow to the chest from the mechanical arms, so with his web he grabs Octopus, which surprised him and pulled him into the void. "He has it!" Koda shouted. They both fell and continued fighting, but a train passed, and they fell rolling on the roof. "He was lucky that the train passed by there," commented Tashinori. "He's rather lucky," were Endeavor's words. So much so that those who were in it were surprised because its wheels left bumps on the roof. "What is that?" asked a civilian. "Believe me, it's better that you don't know," Kendo said that. When they stopped filming, they both rejoined and started fighting again. "Back in action!" shouted Tetsu. "This is getting more and more interesting," Biko commented. Izuku threw a web and Octopus covered himself with his arms, but when he opened them he also pulled the hero, and he used the momentum to kick him, but the villain resisted the kicks. For someone without a quirk, he's very resistant to blows, or is it that Midoriya is holding back from killing him? Azazel asked. "Maybe so, after all killing wouldn't be something he would do," Nisa commented. With one arm he tried to hit her in the head, but she dodged, then at her feet, but she also dodged by jumping and then crouching as they passed over a low bridge. He almost wore them as Tai's Zero got a little scared. That sting really helps him a lot. Ojito also got a little scared. Then Octopus tried to grab him, but he evaded that attack, and with his legs he grabbed that arm using the momentum to hit him, but the villain with the other arms got up and grabbed Izuku by the feet to throw him. "He threw it!" Sada shouted. "Let's go! You can beat him, Midoriya!" Pony Who shouted, encouraging the boy she likes in her native language. He was going to crash into a high bridge, but Izuku managed to get through a tight space and fell on Octopus, causing both of them to fall next to the train. "What happened? Did they fall off the train?" Gyro asked. Now it was seen how both of them fought despite where they were, as if gravity did not affect them, and surprising not only the passengers but also those waiting at the stations and news and police helicopters that recorded the entire fight. Those in the room were amazed to see him fighting in that place. "Damn! It seems that not even gravity can stop them," Rumi said, excited about such a fight. "That boy really does manage as he can, he is willing to beat Octopus," Hawks commented with respect for that boy. The young people and children continued to encourage him to defeat the villain. While the red-haired Mao looked on in a serious manner, wishing to have that boy in his ranks in the underworld. "You can do it, Spider Broccoli," Sarah Tan cheers you up. Lowly Mao got excited. Then Octopus grabs him by the waist and slams him into the train windows, scaring the passengers, but Izuku breaks free and swings to then exit through another, more distant window. "I left superficial wounds on his torso," was Recovery Girl's observation. Deku-kun, said the brunette, now more worried about the freckled boy. "Calm down, Ochako, he'll be fine," Rias said, reassuring her. He tries to catch a mechanical arm with his web, but the force is too much, causing him to almost lose his balance, and use another web from his free hand to avoid falling, but he sees Octopus coming out of there and looks behind him to see another train approaching. So he stuck to the window, avoiding that train. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't want Izuku to end up like a bug on a windshield. The young hero climbed onto the roof looking for Octopus and stealthily watched until he saw a mechanical arm under the train, which he followed. "Bad idea," said Gasper, knowing it could be a trap. "But be careful!" all the young people and children shouted. Being on a window, Octopus from the other side uses an arm to knock Izuku down, and he falls from the elevated tracks. "Oh no!" Ragdoll covered his face in fear. "My baby!" Inko held back the urge to faint from such punishment her son was receiving. "Come on, Midoriya Shonen, get well!" shouted the former symbol of peace. Izuku had to think of something, so he used a spider web hitting the train, and then another one stuck to a building, so he quickly picked up speed and quickly swung towards the train. "That's how it's done!" Milikus shouted, as did everyone else. "Not bad, huh? Not bad," Vala smiled, enjoying the battle. "Mr. Midoriya is amazing," said Kuno, happy to see the hero return. "You can do it, Dad!" shouted Eri, also happy. Octopus saw him coming and wanted to get away, but Izuku with his web prevented him from escaping and grabbed him by the neck to try to cut off his breathing and leave him unconscious. Clever move. If you don't want the fight to drag on, you have to knock him out quickly, commented the master of 1A. But the villain with his mechanical arms breaks free from his grip, and as if he were a rag doll, he grabs him and crashes him into the roof of the train, scaring the passengers, and then puts him on one side. The bad thing is that those arms are a total problem for his plan. There is no way to knock him out, Midnight said, worried about her student. Those arms seem to have a mind of their own, Power Loader deduced, observing carefully. Izuku with his feet sticks to the doors, avoiding falling onto the tracks, but was still in the metal grip. Octopus pushes him further onto the tracks, causing a sign to hit him in the head, and then another, and another, and another. How many signs does this road need? I screamed, full of pain. In the room, almost everyone let out an ouch, or an ouch, with each pointing, and then laughed a little at that shout from the freckled man. I'll apologize to him when I see him, Ida said, laughing a little. Funny, Kaneko commented, smiling. It was going to be like this until Octopus let go, and another train hit him head on. Ouch, that even hurt me, Fat Gum couldn't help but comment. Era, I think it's over for him, Akino commented. I don't think so, Midoriya is one of those who doesn't give up, Todoroki commented. It seemed that everything ended here. If it weren't for Izuku swinging back straight towards the villain. That's it, Deku-kun. You can do it, Melissa shouted, happy to see him back. I'm getting more and more interested in that boy. Aizawa was more interested in him. Aizawa couldn't help but smile as he watched him return to battle, knowing and understanding how stubborn his problematic student was. The villain, already very frustrated, puts in his mechanical arms and takes a man and a woman to use them as hostages. He has hostages. Shiozaki was scared by that. How heartless. Irina got very angry because they used innocent people. He throws the woman, and Izuku manages to grab her to throw her towards a net he made and make her fall safely. Okay, Midoriya, Hagakure shouted. Then the villain threw the man, doing the same thing and saving him. He did it! Zenobia shouted, also excited about the fight. I've had enough. The villain moved towards the main cabin, and when he reached the operator's place, he broke the glass with one of his arms and knocked the operator down. What are you planning to do? Setsuna suspected it was something bad. Izuku arrived ready to continue, but Octopus had other plans. With his mechanical arm, he moved the speed lever and put it at maximum power, causing the passengers to fall to the ground screaming in fear. I accelerate the speed? Mei was surprised by that. Octopus rips off the lever, jamming the speed, and throws it to Izuku, who takes it without knowing what it was. Your train is leaving, Midoriya. And with that, he jumps to grab onto a building. Izuku was going to go straight to stop him, but he heard the operator scream in anguish and went to look through the broken glass. Why would he have done that? If he wants Spider-Man? Mirio had that doubt. I don't know, but I don't like this at all. Tamaki suspected it was something worse. Help! 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 It has no brakes. It won't stop. And then an explosion of sparks comes out, causing the operator to step back and Izuku's mask to burn, forcing him to take it off, but at the moment of doing so, he saw with his pang that the train, at the speed it was going, would end up in a dead end in 3 minutes. One where it would end in tragedy. Everyone was now scared as lives were now in danger. Mr. Hope, how long will it take for the train to finish the track approximately? Sona asked seriously. At the speed that it goes, for about 4.5 minutes, the god told him. Tsubaki takes the time. Queen Citri with a pocket watch took the time. Depending on the distance to the limit, the probabilities will be reduced. Now it is at 90%. So immediately, completely forgetting about Octopus, he stood in front of the train. It's Spider-Man. Oh my god, we're going to die. Tell them to hold on. He told them to get ready. I looked at the wooden tracks, having an idea that I could stop the train with them. Bad idea, Saji commented. You have to at least try, Kiba told him. He got off the train and used his foot to stop it, but the wood was not strong and his leg was starting to hurt, so he gave up before his bones broke. It didn't work, Kaminari said, disappointed. Points for at least trying. Zero said the same. 2 minutes, Kaicho, said the queen, looking at the clock. 45% chance of stopping the train, lost half of the time on the tracks. There were 2 minutes left, and Izuku was running out of time. Any other bright ideas? The operator asked sarcastically. Everyone looked at the operator with a sharp gaze. If you're not going to help, don't talk, Rias yelled angrily. Yeah, I think so. I have nothing, was his thought. Come on, Deku-kun, think of something, Ochako shouted. Come on, Midoriya, use your intelligence. Get out of that situation like you always do, Ida also shouted. And then under pressure he looked at the buildings on the sides. And he threw 2 spider webs at both buildings and held them up using his body as support. Another bad idea, Saji sighed. At that moment he felt the train slow down, but the cobwebs didn't hold up much and Izuku almost fell. I knew it, said Saji. In fact, the odds increased a little by trying that idea, although it is dangerous since it puts his life in danger, Sona said, analyzing everything. That encouraged those from MHA, increasing the hope that Izuku would manage to stop the train. Okay, I have an idea, but will it be enough? I can use more cobwebs, but will I be able to resist it? Then he looked and saw a woman who had a crying baby and she was trying to calm it down. Damn my integrity. I must save them. Are you going to do it again? Momo was now scared. If you do that, your arms will tear off from your torso. Recovery Girl knew she could lose her arms and her life. No, Izuku! Don't do it! Inko shouted in anguish, with Venelana and Graphia trying to calm her down. And without considering it, he threw more cobwebs at the buildings, which were several. No! Please don't do it! Ochako screamed as she didn't want to see him die like the other girls who were beginning to shed tears. The heroes didn't say anything as they silently waited for the boy to get out of that situation. The force of the train was great, and Izuku used all his strength to resist. It was so much that the windows broke and the metal in front began to bend. His suit began to tear and the wounds on his torso opened further, showing more blood. The children had to close their eyes so they wouldn't see a possible tragedy, and the young people were tense, watching helplessly without even being able to help. The cry of pain still resisting such pressure without letting go of the cobwebs, but it worked. Slow down. 10 seconds. 1% chance. And the train reached the limit, knocking down the shock spring and part of it hitting Izuku in the stomach, but it still didn't release the cobwebs. Don't you dare give up, Deku! Bakugo shouted, seeing the superhuman effort the freckled boy was making to save lives. Deku-kun! You can do it! Ochako shouted, supporting him. Come on, Dad! Don't give up! The children shouted in support of him. The train stopped with only about half a car off the track. Everyone was safe. Seeing that the train had stopped, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and the children jumped in their seats with joy at the hero's actions. Tsubaki, when did your watch arrive? 0.30 milliseconds, Kaicho. I see your chances of success were wrong from the start. I thought they were below 0, but it was the opposite, they were above 0. Aizawa heard those words. Izuku, seeing that the train had stopped, released the cobwebs, but he fainted from the effort, and before he fell to the ground, the operator and the passengers took him to help him carefully enter the car. It was obvious that it was the least they could do for the hero who saved them. When they lowered him to the ground, everyone looked at him and couldn't believe that the one who saved them was not an adult, it was a 15-year-old boy. Nobody said anything since at this point, revealing their identity would be a fact that no one can avoid in that universe. The roof of the car was opened by dragon claws that belonged to Ryukyu, accompanied by all the heroes present. How is Spider-Man? He was shocked when he saw him. Seeing who Spider-Man was. With his claws he carefully takes it out to show it to his companions. The heroes could not believe that the vigilante who had caused them so many problems in the past by stopping villains and saving many lives was now a boy who did not finish high school. And that really struck a chord with those in the room too. They allowed a young teenager who was bullied for being born a Quirkless to do his job better than them. without even having any intentions of seeking fame or nonsense of being number one, just with his desire to help others. The teachers and the big three recognized him immediately, since how could they not recognize the only Quirkless at UA? Aizawa more when seeing him, and that he himself told him that his potential was below zero, and seeing what he did makes him regret the harsh words that made him what he is now. Aizawa looked down in pity for himself for not seeing the potential his child had from the beginning. Midoriya? It can't be, said Mirio, still not believing it. Aizachan, is it Spider-Man? Nijire couldn't believe it either. This kid, he helped my son with his problem. I can't imagine him being Spider-Man. Endeavor was just like the others. Even without your quirk, you saved me from myself. Midoriya Todoroki smiled because his other self managed to save himself. All thanks to Midoriya. Midnight, worried about the boy, checked his wounds and they were not serious, although they had to take him to a hospital. Izuku was beginning to wake up, and the first thing he saw was the heroes who have been chasing him since he became a vigilante. And then he touched his face to realize that he doesn't have his mask on. Beginning to panic, something the heroes noticed. Hey, would they arrest him even though he saved many lives? Michael asked the heroes. They didn't say anything. Hey, calm down, Midoriya, everything is okay, the teacher told him, smiling at him to calm him down. No, they're not going to arrest me? If we arrest you now, more than half the country will come after us, said the rabbit heroine, somewhat frustrated because Spider-Man is too young to go out with him. Midoriya. He looked at the underworld hero. Eraserhead. I was wrong, you are above zero. Hearing those words only made the boy shed a few tears as he saw the looks on the other heroes' faces and knew they were recognizing him as one. Some girls and even women couldn't help but shed a few tears seeing him so happy for being recognized. Aizachan. Nijire had Izuku's mask in her hands, smiling at him with a blush. We promised to help you become legal, Aizachan. Everyone agreed on that. It's the least we can do for him, Endeavor said in agreement. He put on his mask, thanking them. But suddenly the transformation and mutant heroes began to feel weak, and the broadcast ones like Endeavor lost their quirks. It was Octopus approaching slowly towards them on the roof of the train. Aizawa, Midnight, and Endeavor stood in front to face him, while Mirio and Death Arms protected him. And Nijire hugged him protectively. It's time for you to come, Midoriya. I'm not going to let you do that. I don't need my quirk to face you, said Endeavor seriously. Either she comes with me or her friend dies. Choose now, Midoriya. You'll have to go over us. Nijire yells at him, determined not to let Izuku go. My other self won't let you. Nijire agreed as she looked around the room. Fine if that's what you want. His arms pulled out long blades that were going to hurt the heroes. Stop. I'll go with you, but don't hurt them, you win. The legal heroes wanted to stop him, but Izuku stuck them to the ground with spider webs so they wouldn't stop him. What are you doing? Jiro shouted, surprised by what he did. He prevents them from getting hurt. He will sacrifice himself so that they don't hurt us. He knows that without our quirks we won't be able to do anything to Octopus, said Aizawa, annoyed that his offspring would do such an act. Aizachan, don't do it. Please, Aizachan. Listen to me. He screamed, begging. He ignored Nijire and passed by Aizawa to give him something, letting the smiling Octopus knock him out and take him away in front of the heroes who were powerless to avoid it. The screen went black and everyone knew it was over. I'm sorry I don't have more, but I'll give you the rest after seeing another universe. Take a break. At the words of God, they decided to rest, leaving the room while the girls tried to calm down, and the boys, although upset by what happened last, could not help but talk about the fight that was great in their eyes. The adults tried to calm Inko, who was helped by Venelana, who became something like her friend. As for the god, he let out a sigh and made a soda appear. This gets harder every day. I know, my lord, but you must know that it is a request from your other followers and fellow gods, and you gave your word to give them more reactions. Don't remind me, Ariel, if they are like this because of the Octopus battle. I can't imagine how they will feel about the Electro battle. The only thing we can do is hope for the best. Evolution. Things were lively in the movie theater until the god appeared with a smile. Hello everyone, I'm sure you're wondering why I'm smiling. Several of them laughed because it was obvious that they wanted to laugh. Varen was going through the universes, and I found this one in which Issei and Izuku were young teachers at a high school in Texas, and suddenly a meteorite falls, bringing life what would be the most important discovery for them, but the army took over everything and even stole their research, so both had to recover something, but Dr. Ochako was going to stop them, but something happened, and believe me, you are going to laugh a lot. The god snapped his fingers, and on the screen you could see Izuku in a red suit just like Issei, and in front of them was Ochako, who was accompanied by 2 military men. And after much discussion, a mosquito was seen that with its needle tore Issei's suit and got in, leaving chestnut-loving girls in fear. Izuku! That? There's something inside my suit. That's impossible, it's sealed. And suddenly the mosquito flew into Issei's visor. The fly. It's inside my suit. Izuku tried to help, but Ochako told him to increase the oxygen that would kill her. And for a moment it seemed like the situation was under control, but the brown-haired boy suddenly felt something enter his skin and screamed in terror. Yeah. I have it inside me. Issei. They all screamed for fear that the insect would hurt their loved one. The scene changed to a medical room where a doctor and his nurse were pushing an Issei who was still screaming in terror and an Izuku who was putting on surgical clothes on a stretcher. Someone get this thing out of my body, please. Nothing will happen to you. We have to open it quickly. Open up? Not even Judas was as much of a bastard as you wretch. The angry complaint about such betrayal from his friend. The mosquito was already seen crawling inside the skin and flesh on the left leg. Doctor, what do we have to do? Ochako asked him very seriously about the situation. Maybe we have to amputate, said the doctor with a saw ready to cut off the limb. Nuh! They all shouted, fearful of such an option, especially Rias and Akino. Don't you dare do it! Asia cried with tears. God, please don't cut it off, Irina begged. Isn't that too much? Kyoka asked. I think there was no time to think of other options back then, Momo responded. That doctor is very negligent, said Recovery Girl, angry at how the brown-haired boy was treated. Nuh! Please, doc. Don't cut off my leg. Izuku, I beg you, don't allow it. Can't he do anything else? He thinks he's an athlete. But the situation worsened when they saw that the mosquito was going to a vulnerable area. It goes to the crotch. This left the girls speechless, fearing that they might not even be able to have a family. What the hell are you waiting for? Cut off your leg! Zenobia shouted, fearing she would no longer have children. Do it now! Ravel also shouted. Cut it! Kaneko and Kuroka were just like Zenobia and Ravel. Cut it out! What are you waiting for? Cut it out! Cut off your leg! The brown-haired boy shouted with even more terror. No, wait! The mosquito moved away from the crotch. Change of address. Give me some fortes, I'll see if I can get it in the colon. Doctor, where are you going to enter? Ochako asked. Through the rectum. Nuh! She screamed in terror when she knew where the clamps were going to stick it in. That left all the men speechless, knowing that this was going to hurt. And a lot. The girls were between nervous and anxious as they secretly imagined doing that with the brown-haired boy, but hoped it would be something more romantic. And the chestnut will be left. Akino, on the other hand, smiled as seeing her beloved's face suffering for such a thing excited her. I'll get the Vaseline, said the nurse. No Vaseline, please. Akino! Rias scolded him. Don't be so mean. Asia also scolded her. There's no time for Vaseline, said the doctor, preparing himself. There's always time for bucking Vaseline, the brown-haired boy shouted. Flip it over. He was turned upside down by Izuku and Ochako, who held his hands in support. Relax, this doesn't hurt, the nurse told him with ulterior motives while she pulled down his underwear. Yes, of course, Azazel said mockingly. Come on, buddy, you have to relax, Izuku told him. Everything will be fine, Ochako supported. Let's change places and put yourself like me and see if you relax, I demanded, preparing myself for what they were going to do to me. Rias Gremory was afraid, but a hand took her out of that fear, and it was Ochako who smiled at her. Deku-kun and my other self are supporting him. Everything will be fine. Thanks, Ochako. I'm going in. And so the doctor put the tweezers in. Issei's expression was one that the girls secretly liked a lot, and even more so Akino, who was getting very excited. As for the boys, they were terrified. I can't imagine what he's feeling right now, said the walking battery. Poor guy, the boy with tape elbows also felt sorry. Now I won't be able to look him in the eyes knowing what happened to him, Kiba said while trying to calm down a gasper who wanted to cry. Relax, friend, relax, you can do it, Izuku told him, squeezing his hand in support. He is brave, he is so brave, Ochako also supported. A little more, the doctor inserted the tweezers deeper. No more! The chestnut cried in pain. Yes, more! Hey! Akino screamed in annoyance when she was sprayed with water by Rias thanks to Momo. So that it goes away from you. It's deeper. Don't go too far. Come on, boy, you can do it. It will happen, the old woman told him. Come on, open up. Open. Open it. Breathe, you can breathe. I'm breathing. I tried to bear the pain, I answered Ochako. I've almost got it, said the doctor. There you have it. The brown-haired boy warned, feeling it. Get it out now, Rias shouted, unable to bear to see her beloved suffer any longer. I got it. And he takes out the tweezers with the mosquito in them. It's over, it's over. The girls breathed a sigh of relief, though Akino groaned in disappointment. Poor boy won't be able to sit down for a long time, said Present Mai. It was the most logical thing if I didn't want to die. Always so harsh, Aizawa, although his reactions were all a delight, said Namuri, wetting her lips. Where is the sprinkler? The mosquito tried to free itself but suddenly died from oxygen. He's already dead, said the doctor. Issei stood up and looked at the doctor with anger. Never do that to me again. I killed him! He tried to strangle the doctor, but Izuku stopped him along with Ochako, who tried to calm him down, and then left him on the bed. The size of that bug was that big. You are very brave. Yes, big, ha 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 ha. The monkey fell silent as he felt the murderous aura of his cat companion. It's all over now. Can I get you something? Do you need anything? An ice cream, I ask you for an ice cream please, he said, still with tears in his eyes because of his wounded pride. Okay, what flavor do you want? It doesn't matter, it's for my tail, she said, already giving in to tiredness. At the end the screen goes black and the men laugh out loud, but they were silenced by the aura of the women for such disrespect. And the god spoke. You know, I forgot to mention this. All the experiences and pains that the variants of our protagonists go through are also being felt by them, meaning that Issei did feel what his variant feels. That left everyone speechless. So that Issei would? Yes. The god snapped his fingers and looked at the unconscious brown-haired boy next to Izuku, and crying in pain and shame. Nobody knew what to say. Oops, oops. The crazy and the aggressive. In the movie theater everyone was talking and suddenly Hope appeared, but she had a serious face. Your attention please. Everyone looked at him. I'm going to ask you to please listen to what I'm going to say. In one of my universes or visits from other universes, I saw someone I wanted to help. It's a variant of Rias Gremory. A variation of mine? Asked the aforementioned. Yes, only she comes from a dark branch. I saw her story, and when I investigated I realized that her god observer was very cruel and unfair to her. He made her do terrible things, confusing her mind to the point where she betrayed her Issei, and was responsible for his death, not only of him, but of everyone she knows. That left the redhead in shock. She was then tortured, scorned, and hurt to the point where her mind broke, changing her completely. Now she would be another look. The screen activates and shows a girl in a park. Her appearance was 21 years old with red hair tied in a ponytail, wearing a tight red suit with black details, 2 katanas on her back and pistols on her waist. She wrote on what looks like a well-done drawing of someone very well known, saying, I love you, Rias. Then she looks ahead. Hi, I hadn't seen you. I'm sure you already know who I am, but I want to introduce myself personally. So, Mr. Author, would you mind? The god just smiled, and after a click the screen turned off and a portal opened above in which she appeared. The mercenary Rias. Now that I'm here, I'll tell you who I am. My name is Rias, aka Deadpool or Lady Deadpool, and I'm an honorable member of the X-Men. You are not, said the god, smiling. Shut up. He yelled at her in a childish manner anyway. It's great to see faces I haven't seen since that bucking day. What day? Asia asked very curiously. The mercenary approaches her and caresses her head as well as her cheeks with affection. Hey Asia-chan, you're still as cute as I remember. About that day Rias! Everyone turned around and saw someone coming out of a portal, someone who shouldn't have appeared twice. It was Ochako, but she had a tight black suit with pink details and white gloves that many recognize. They were Izuku's gloves. Hey friends! How did you get here? A portal opened while I was looking for your trail. What the hell is this shitty place? I stopped talking when I saw who I was looking at, then sighed in annoyance. Don't tell me, Multiverse. You got it right, friend. Aren't you happy to see familiar faces? Because I am, and the truth is I'm looking to see if Issei is around. I see my cute Issei, come here so you can get me pregnant, she spoke in a mischievous tone, making the others blush. Era, I really like this, Rias, said Akino, finding that variation of her friend and lover funny. What are you talking about? The normal Rias asked, somewhat jealous of her variant's tone to her beloved. Excuse me, my partner is a bit crazy, so please ignore her. The readers will get mad, you know? Shut your bucking mouth, he ordered angrily. Those from Boku no Hero and even Ochako herself were surprised by the way that variant spoke. Well, we have to get out of here and return to our universe. We have to talk to that god you mentioned before, right? The crazy redhead doesn't answer him. True? I ask him now, angry. Madam, am I allowed to speak? Just nods Hitch. The crazy girl nodded, and everyone present seemed to understand the bad mood of the Ochako variant, since the Rias variant can drive anyone crazy. Okay, I'll talk to him and we'll go back to our universe before you do any crazy girl shit. What girl? I'm really old, she claimed, funny and childish. Wait a minute, why do you have Deku-kun's gloves on? And why are you talking like that? Perhaps. It doesn't concern you, girl. In fact, it's better that you don't even know anything about me, Ochako replied seriously in her pure version, worrying those from Boku no Hero. What could have happened to him? Why don't you tell him? After all, helping doesn't cost anything. Shutting your mouth is also free, but you don't do it. Like that time you lied to me, he replied to the crazy woman. It was a lie with foundation. Hey, big face, tell us what you know now, Bakugo told him with his usual attitude. She turned around and saw someone she really hated. What do you care, you idiot? Why don't you just get out before I kill you? I said to him now, very angry when I saw who it was. Everyone noticed he didn't like Bakugo. What did you say to me, Hitch? Shiny! They were going to rush into a fight with explosions in their hands like a rabid dog, but... Time! It was the crazy redhead who made a time out gesture and then went to the brunette. Prepare yourself a little, the fandom likes how this asshole is humiliated. It will be easy for you. Pull his legs and knock him down. There you have it. Then kick him in the neck and give him his turkey slaps until he doesn't make any noise because he's already dead, he told him while rubbing his shoulders. You better shut your mouth now, you idiot. Oh, language, okay, too much shit, I'm your fan. Bakugo, stop. Aizawa tried to stop him, but he didn't listen to him, and launched himself with his Hu active. He launched himself, and just when his face was about to explode. Shiny! 5. A powerful force made him bury himself in a wall where only his legs are visible. Nobody knew how that happened so fast. Who's next? I said, looking at the Boku no Hero people in a serious way. Ochako, calm down, Momo told her, trying to stay calm. Shut your mouth, daddy's girl. You're still as useless as I remember you. I should have cut your head off when I had the chance, traitor. That left everyone in shock. Traitor? Even the teachers were surprised, and even more so when they saw her take out metal claws from her knuckles, which were surrounded by black energy that didn't seem like a common quirk. "Miss Uraraka, please calm down. No one is against you here." Nisa spoke to her, trying to calm her down. The damn rat that thinks it's the most intelligent in the world and wasn't able to see what was happening before its eyes. Now that they know what I'm capable of and that I hurt their future symbol of peace, they're going to want to attack me, aren't they? "Well, bucket," the brunette said, mad with rage. Suddenly a very powerful pressure was present, leaving everyone very weak, so much so that it also affected those from DXD and Vale who now wanted to fight her. Only a few knew about that power, one of them unconsciously mentioned it. "All for one." "Shit is getting out of control," Azazel shouted in surprise. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it," said the crazy redhead. And without anyone noticing, the brunette received 2 stabs in the back with katanas, and then an equally or more powerful sensation was present, not to mention the shock of seeing someone with katanas stuck in their body and the blood. Something that the DXD leaders knew who that energy that the mercenary expels was from. Trihexa was what Azazel said. The crazy woman who was smiling said mockingly in the brunette's ear, "Lower your ovaries, will you?" Without expecting it, the brunette turns to throw the redhead into the wall, and the somewhat sore girl speaks to her. "Well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted. Readers will like how we hit it off. What are you saying, hitch of 1,000 powers?" "I'm going to break your ass," the brunette said, growling like a beast while expelling more power. "Not if I break it first and without Vaseline," she replied, smiling in a crazy way and then looking at the 4th wall. "Get out the tissues, virgin boys. This will be exciting." "Stop, please!" Ochako yells at her variant. "Enough, you don't have to fight." Rias also yells at her variant. And both variants launch themselves to kill each other, screaming in anger. "Ah! Gra! Snap!" But a snap took away their powers and both collided, leaving Rias crazy over the furious Ochako. It was Hope who stopped them. "I'm glad you're both so active," the god spoke sarcastically. "What is that little head of yours thinking?" he said about the chestnut. "Get down, you sick girl," he ordered her with anger and disgust. "SHHH, wait, I'm almost there." "Little for what?" he asks. "To get my dagger out of your delicious little ass." The chestnut tried to kill her, but she was faster, and then the more docile versions of them along with Inko and Venelana separated them. "Stop screwing up thinking about me. I'll tell Icy on you," he said with fake anger. Rule number 1, the one who speaks of both is me. Readers will follow her around. "I told you to shut your bucking mouth." "Enough, you don't have to talk like that. Calm down please," the other Ochako begged her. "Ochako-chan, I beg you please calm down." The aggressive version looks at the woman and then looks down as if apologizing. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "Ha, hashtag, they scolded me," the redhead said mockingly. "You behave, will you? You make us both look ridiculous," her normal version said, embarrassed. "Oh, no way. Ouch. It hurts." "Language, young lady." Bale spoke to her seriously while pulling the crazy woman's ear. "I got it. Let go." Suddenly the god appeared in the middle of the room. "It seems that things have calmed down now, anyway. Are you the god who brought us here? If so, return us to our universe. Come back? Don't you want to see Izuku? There were times when you dreamed and cried to see him again." The crazy woman spoke to him. "What the buck do you care? We have to go back." "I'm sorry, but I won't be able to return them until some time has passed, and I don't think it's advisable since our anchor characters died. We know it, yet we must return." "I don't want to go back. There's nothing for me there," the mercenary told him. "I will ask you this question, do you really want to go back?" asked the god. That left both of them silent until the redhead spoke. "As I said, I don't want to go back. Issei is here and I don't want to separate from him. We don't belong to those worlds." Rias, the aggressive Ochako, tried to make her see reason. "Do you really want to go back to that damned world of shit? Look, I know you punish yourself for being deceived by the variants of those assholes over there," she said, pointing at those from Boku no Hero who were a little offended, "but that doesn't mean you should continue in your misery. Try to be happy since that's what you Izuku would have wanted. At the words of the crazy redhead, the brunette meditated a little. I honestly didn't want to go back. He wanted to see Izuku even if he wasn't his own. But she didn't feel deserving of such an opportunity. Well, what do you think if I show you a continuation of the Bad Boys universe? He said, trying to lighten the mood. Now everyone takes their seats with the aggressive Ochako standing near Inko looking seriously at the rest and having the original Ochako at her side. Crazy Rias was under surveillance by Venelana, who only needed a glance to make her at least behave, having the original Rias at her side and ignoring the others who asked her questions. And a Bakugo still buried in the wall. Well, here they go. With a click, the screen lights up and shows the streets of Miami and a sports car going at high speed. It was Issei and Izuku who were dressed in gala attire. Turn it down, I see. I almost vomited. Well, I would if we weren't late. He continued driving at maximum speed, overtaking others. We're not late, buddy, you're just anxious. Well, I wouldn't be anxious if we weren't late, and you wouldn't do this in the next stage of our lives. You would respect my time. Why are you driving so fast? Zenobia asked, confused. That's because Issei is late for his wedding with someone in particular, said the god, looking at a certain redhead. Rias, knowing that, didn't know whether to cry or laugh, since that would be a dream come true. She married Issei in a wedding declaring eternal love. The crazy girl just made a childish pout. Surtuda. Hey, I see, stop at that store. I need a ginger ale, Izuku asked, a little dizzy from going around so much. But we don't have time for a ginger ale, Izuku, we're running late. If you don't do it, I think I'm going to throw up. Go on, dare I challenge him. And just when the green-haired boy was about to vomit, the brown-haired boy parked in front of the store and took off his glasses. You have 90 seconds for a ginger ale and that's all you heard? Come on, I see, I'm an adult and I know what I have to do. So please have more respect for me? Okay, Mr. Midoriya, you have 85 seconds left, hurry up. The green-haired boy entered the store and took the bottle of ginger ale and some skits which he ate. When he looked at his watch, he realized he was late, so he went to the cashier to pay, but he stopped when he saw something delicious. Some sausages rolling ready to be served, so much so that it made your mouth water even though it seems to come from the heart. Are the sausages fresh? I just put them yesterday, said the manager. Well, I want a hot dog with lots of mustard and put pickles on your dirty mother's daughter. Be careful, he suffers from high cholesterol, said the god, exposing the green-haired man. That made everyone interested in Izuku angry. Oh, he's going to get it big. You better shut your mouth. Angry because your Deku doesn't take care of himself? She just responded with the middle finger to the crazy woman. I love you too. Back to the screen. The manager was going to take a sausage with some tongs. Not that one, I want that one over there. I take it to make it. Run, run, it's for today, friend. When it was ready, Izuku bit into it, enjoying the taste. It seemed like nothing was going to ruin this moment. How wrong I was. Opens the box. A guy threatened the manager with a gun and Izuku just cursed his luck. I didn't have time for that. The typical shoplifter who comes to steal, what a copycat, was what Rumi said. Friend, it's not a good time, Izuku told him. Shut the buck up. Seriously, if I don't get out of here in 15 seconds, there will be a very grumpy guy who will screw us both over. Things were about to get worse as someone else came in. Izuku, why are you taking so long? My love has come! The crazy woman shouted, happy to see her beloved again. We never talked about sharing it with you, said the redhead, something serious. Come on, don't be like that, give me a chance please. Don't move, you idiot! Issei clapped his hands, smiling ironically as if he was hoping it wouldn't happen but lying to himself. I see, I was going to leave but this guy came to assault me, you know, criminals, he said, trying not to be noticed. But... and those skits on the counter? That's right, my friend, how do you explain those sweets? Kaminari said, laughing a little. Well then, the bearded guy took a while to serve me and I took them while I waited. What a liar you are, said Momo seriously and annoyed with the green-haired boy. That's not true. The first thing he did when he came in here was take the ginger ale. The funniest thing is that the manager gives him away without any problem, Azazel said, laughing. Aizawa slapped his forehead at the sight of his student's idiocy. And a hot dog? Ochako will kill me for letting you eat that. You have a bad heart. No, Issei, I know it's not your fault that Deku-kun is a careless idiot for eating junk food, said the original Ochako. If I were you, I would punish him for not taking care of himself. Believe me, he is one of those who understands blows, said the aggressive woman, having angry veins on more temples. The hot dog is not mine, it's his. And on top of that he wants to blame the assailant. What an idiot, said Vala, laughing at the moment. You look prettier when you're quiet, Naya Kuroka said, laughing along with Kaneko, who agreed with her sister. Lies. But you are such a busybody, please stop accusing me, you bastard. If he just tells the truth, after all he deserves it for not taking care of himself, said Nijire, pouting because of how angry she was. Shut up for Buck's sake. We forgot about him, said Hawk. Friend, I'm going to have to ask you to put that weapon on the ground. Why don't you come and take this from me, idiot? I think he wants to die, right? The crazy woman said, somewhat angry at how he insulted her lover by taking out a gun. But Venelana takes it away like a mother taking a toy away from a child. No weapons, young lady. The crazy girl made a childish pout, embarrassing the redhead with her variance attitude. Don't bother him, he can get very angry if you threaten him like that. Izuku fights with the car. But the guy is pointing the gun at my head, I see. It's so close to his face that he can remove it with one movement, said Jiru, somewhat embarrassed by her friend's tone of voice. Are you going to deal with him or me? Sorry, my friend, but I'm leaving now. And just as the purple-haired girl said, Izuku took the gun away from him in one movement, but Issei took out his own and shot the assailant in the leg, leaving him dying in pain on the ground. That was totally unnecessary and irrational, said Aizawa, not approving of what the brown-haired boy did. I would have hit him in the chest, but my IC is always a good person, said the crazy woman. Era, I think IC got even with the assailant for being late to the wedding, was the opinion of Akino, who enjoyed the guy's moans of pain. You didn't have to shoot him, he told him his mistake. Run to the car, now, he said, already more upset with his friend for being late. Izuku then leaves the robber's gun on the counter. Call 911. Aren't you police officers? They're not on duty, moron, said Pixie Bob, laughing a little. And just when Broccoli was going to eat more skits, the brown-haired boy takes them from him and throws them on the ground to leave there. And on top of that, he wanted to take the skits. Hey, when he sees him, he's going to listen to me, said a very angry Ochako, although she stopped when she saw Inko's gaze, who was smiling at her. You have my blessing. Those words made the brunette blush so much that she floated again, being grabbed by the ankle by her aggressive variant, who only denied it as if she remembered that in her universe. There will be more universes that you see, and I assure you that you will like them for the moment, because you better go to the break room. I see that you have a lot to talk about. The aggressive chestnut left there smelling alcoholic beverages, took a Jack Daniels and drank it from the original Ochako's worried beak. The crazy redhead found some good chimichangas there, which she enjoyed eating, making the original redhead sigh. Both groups wanted to know what had happened for these variants to end up like this. What they didn't know was that what they were going to discover they weren't going to like.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.